Going.
And that is why you have a high survival.
Oh, heck yeah. All right. Hold on, excuse me.
No, I'm gonna be on it.
Okay. Oh, heck yeah. Okay, we're live. And now I gotta share the link, get others on. Okay. First thing we're gonna do is we are gonna shut. We're live. They can hear you right now.
The whole time I was in here?
Well, no, they can hear you and see you now. So now let's manage participants. We're gonna invite people. We're gonna copy the URL. People are already watching. People are already watching us. All right. Could I turn the screen that they could see you? All right, guys. We're taking a while to get this loaded. It's the theme. Give me a second. All right, here we go. Did I send it? I don't even know if I sent it. Let's do that. There you go. Oops, let me send it in here. There you go. That's what happened. I went down by mistake. Let's send out the YouTube link in a moment. First, I gotta copy this. There's one guy who is part of our crew. Okay, let's see if anyone's watching on YouTube just yet. We have 9 people watching. These losers, these yakis get to see us set up. So I gotta invite Shu and a Parsik, who is a surprise addition. Then I'm gonna have to let people in. This is a lot of fun. Give it a sec. All right. Okay, and things are running behind. Let's go back into Zoom. We have admit these people. Very nice, very nice. Admit oral. David Kreisman, you got to change your name. It's Moshe. Welcome, guys.
Hey.
Turn up your volume. Just as a heads up, you can rename yourself. So I'm going to rename myself Chol on Face. We are already live on Facebook. I'm going to drop the link.
You hear me?
The comments.
It looks like we're live on YouTube.
YouTube, that's right. So I'm going to drop the link to the YouTube if I find it. All right. Share. It always takes a while in the beginning. Did you guys see the Haas concert? Any of you? Anyone?
No, I couldn't afford it.
So the Haas concert apparently was really late. We got Michael Kaufman's trying to get in. One person's waiting. Who's waiting? Oh.
Where's the YouTube link? I want to be able to post it on Facebook.
I'm gonna drop it into our
please.
Group.
Wow, I mean, if you think Jewish,
who can send? Jeff Allen sent the link. Hey, Michael, nice to meet you. You're looking good.
Thank you. If you think Jewish time is late, what about Jewish comedian time? Holy cow!
What's going on? Someone
Jewish OCD time, 8:58 and 52 seconds.
You would come up. You look like you're still in the office, Michael. Like, are you like somewhere in the middle of Atlantic, still working? Pacific time. All right. Okay, Moshe, your sound is off. You muted yourself. But he's talking to someone. Okay, I won't unmute him. This is we have some people from the at-risk generation who will be joining. Let me see. Let me ask if someone got the link. We will be starting in a couple minutes. This is us just getting to know each other. So how you guys doing? Saul, how's your how's it going? How's the first days? I mean, we'll get into that, but it was nice.
The first days, well, I spent it at my father's house and my brother's house, and it's a very interesting combination, with my father and my brother, because my father and
I have it. I'm middle sending it to you.
Are very, like tense, quick, let's do everything quick,
right.
new. And my brother who's from Israel, he's like the guy that always schleps along, and I'm like the guy, trying to moderate between two different, worlds of personalities, but it was cool. It was okay.
Nice. You didn't get to see your cousin Jake Turks. Yeah.
I didn't get to Turks. We were going to we were going to spend time together, but he due to the whole quarantine thing, he opted. He didn't think it was a good idea for us to to be together. But I would have loved to. We had a great time last year together, but it is what it is, unfortunately. But I'm sure we'll have some time together.
Okay, nice. Hold on, admit. All right. It seems like we've got a whole bunch of people here. I don't know who Levi is. Who's Levi? We don't even have a Levi in this group. Oh, Levi Goldstein. Levi Goldstein, turn on your video. Shua, welcome. I don't know who Levi is. It's Levi. We don't even have a Levi in this group.
Hey, turn your radio off, guys.
You got to turn off if you're watching on YouTube. You got to turn off your YouTube. And I now need to wait. Yisrael, can you post it on in our Facebook?
That is done. We're done. We're live and people are watching. So I think we can get started.
All right. Welcome to Frumprov. Hamoed Frumprov. We're starting 6 minutes late, which is a lot earlier than the IL concert, from what I heard. Are they called the IL concert anymore? The Haas concert. A time for music was a little late this time. This is a bad start. This is a very tough start, guys. I'm not ready for this. We're going to start with some very quick. We have some questions that we're going to ask those who have joined, and we're going to start with how was this Pesach different from other Pesachs? Shua and a Parstic, unmute yourself and answer us.
Hey, can everybody hear me?
Yeah. How was this Pesach different from other Pesachs?
How is this Pesach different from other Pesach? So I'm just really grateful that you invited me to this, because I have an excuse today to wear pants, which is great. I call it upper body formal. During all these Zoom calls, we have the upper body formal wearing the suit. I didn't put on my suit. I'm wearing my pot holders this Pesach. I got a new pair of tzitzis just for Pesach, the Pesach pot holder. I have my chametz pot holders. I have a milchik pot holder. I spoke to the Rav. It's all good. So yeah, that's how this Pesach is different.
All right, Jeff, welcome. Jeff, how is this Pesach different from all other Pesachs for you?
You got relatives that you don't have to listen to because you can mute them on Zoom.
That guy's
Uncle
related
Sally,
to you.
I'd love to listen to your views on Donald Trump, but I can't hear anything you're saying, Uncle Sally. I'm not sure what's going on. Keep the mute button on. Keep quiet. That's how this Pesach was different than others.
Excellent. I'm going to mute you. Chaim Chaikel, how is their Pesach different than other Pesachs?
I think most Yontifs, we say it's go to shul, eat, sleep, and repeat. So I just cut out the go to shul and needed to eat and the sleep to compensate.
Thank you for that. Orel, how was your Pesach?
So
how is it different than others?
The difference between for today, actually, every year I try to find a good excuse not to go or not to invite my in-laws. This year I didn't have to do that, so that's amazing. They were understandable. They understood. I didn't have to be creative or anything. Yeah, I think that's the big difference this year. No jokes aside, yeah, that's the biggest difference I think this year.
So for me personally, and it was before Pesach that most years the firefighters are there during B'dikas Chametz, but this year they only arrived after B'dikas Chametz.
Yeah, for the Chametz, you try flushing down the toilet, clogged both bathrooms.
That well, you're supposed to hide 10 crumbs, not 10 baguettes, kind.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about after you eat all the matzah and clog both toilets.
Huh.
Kids.
Parents.
Okay, next question. Oh, we have an interruption. Do you need something? What? Oh, folks, we have a live update as this is going. My wife needs her purse. Okay, next question. Highlight of your Seder, Moshe Kreisman. Show us your video. Show us your face. Turn up your guys. You don't need to mute yourself. Everyone unmute. Let's join together. Moshe Kreisman, you there? No, I think he's taking he's on a Chol Hamoed trip. Yaakov Fisher, tell us what was the highlight of your Seder?
I think it was very nice when everyone came outside for Shvei Chamascha, and I realized that I probably shouldn't have been sitting in my sukkah. That was pretty nice. Also, not gonna lie, finishing at 10:30 and telling everyone 2 a.m. is also very nice.
Saul, what was the highlight of your Seder?
What was the highlight of my Seder? Trying to bridge the personality gap between my parents who are like, quick, new type, like very like fast-paced type of people, and my younger brother who's an absolute schlepper with everything. That was, and I had to be the moderator between the two. And boy, you think comedy is difficult? Dealing with them is a whole nother ballgame.
Yisrael Bernat, how is your Seder different? What was the highlight of your Seder?
Just wait a second. I just got an update that I have to count Sphira. Give me a second. I'll be back.
Yeah.
Levi Goldstein, what was the highlight of your Seder?
So the highlight of my Seder was, so my kid gets me these, my mother-in-law actually sent us these blow-up pillows, balloon blow-up pillows for the leaning thing. So the highlight of my Seder is getting that and trying to balance myself on it the entire Seder. So thanks, Schwager.
Did it pop at any point?
No.
Okay, the highlight of my Seder was like where is he? Like Yaakov said, my Seder lasted. He said his till 3. Mine lasted till 4:15 in the morning.
What? Yeah, 10 o'clock p.m.
That was actually your bedtime.
Well, you're the
When
one
did
who
it start?
I only fell asleep at Avodah Mayinu because you're boring Manashana.
Well, you're the one who me.
Okay, let's move on. Next question. Where did you go for the Chol Hamoed trip and how was it? Let's start with Aurel. Aurel, where did you go for the Chol Hamoed trip?
For this Chol Hamoed, honestly, I went to a magical place called Arundel. It's a special place for those who are not familiar with Arundel. It's a magical place from Frozen 2 with Anna, Elsa. We made some new friends. Today is the 10th time that I go with my daughter there, and it's really nice.
All right, Chaikel, where'd you go?
So we decided we took our kids driving. They drove us insane, and then we went crazy. And tomorrow I think we're gonna go nuts.
Ezra, where'd you go for Chol Hamoed? Oh, Ezra's not in yet. Jeff, where'd you go?
He's still gone.
Toilet paper, baby. Took me 4 days to find it. I got it. It's all mine. And it feels great.
You don't need it from all the matzah. Shua, where'd you go? Shua, you with us? Where'd you go for Chol Hamoed?
I'm my internet connection's a little wonky, but I just got back. That was my Chol Hamoed trip. I was away because of the internet connection. I just got back. So there you have it. We actually went to the zoo. My kids are a bunch of animals. So yeah, that was our Chol Hamoed trip.
Well, I had a hard time finding a Jew-free attraction this Chol Hamoed, so I took my kids to the park.
The park was closed.
Okay, I brought the kids to look at the wildlife, the beautiful wildlife that was in the grassy area.
We threw matzahs with the Jews.
Okay, but at least now they won't be able to poop on my van anymore. Anyway, let's move on. I don't know. Isn't it like past your bedtime? Okay, next question. How many cups of wine did you really drink? Lady Goldstein, we'll start with you.
I drank 4, and I'm not a good drinker, so maybe 3.5. But don't tell anybody.
All right, Yisrael, how many cups of wine did you really drink?
Well, if you really want to know, how many cups of wine did I drink? 100. I don't know what 100, but you know what? I'm gonna make up for yesterday's Sfira.
Saul, how many cups of wine did you really drink at the Seder?
Well, it's a good question. Well, I'm sober, so I don't drink alcohol, but I'd rather focus more on how much I ate. And I'm deliberately sitting a little back so you can see my stomach. And I want everybody watching to know this is what a Jew's stomach looks like after eating Passover food.
Woo! Yaakov Fisher.
So let my people go.
How much did I drink? I got to be honest with you. About a quarter of a cup. My wife said no messes, and she gave out sippy cups, and it's very hard to drink a whole kais leaning from a sippy cup. I'm done with 2 by now.
Moshe Kreisman, how many cups did you drink?
Well, it depends on who you ask. According to me, I had 4 cups, but according to Yossi Ben Haglili, I had 20 cups, and according to Rabbi Eliezer, it became 80 cups.
Woo! I heard that, I'm told, Moshe, that last night you went to sleep, you were 18 years old, right? All right, that's
right.
A terrible joke. Okay, well, me personally, I don't like wine, so I just kept to the minimum. I had 4 cups. I just had 4 cups of wine. That's it.
Okay, where should I put your?
Can I just say something, Tzvi?
Yeah, my kids are really embarrassing me here.
Yeah, I just forgot something about the 4 cups that I remembered that quite got me on edge. So every year when you have the kids at the Seder table, with you're pouring them the cup, they want the cup to full to the top. And I always freak out and bothers me. I have this phobia of them spilling it. And they're going to spill it, and they spill it and again. And then the second night they spill it again. I just feel like in the beginning of the Seder, I should take their cups, pour it on their head, and then go ahead, go free. And then I don't have to worry about it spilling.
Yeah.
Get it out of the way, and yeah, okay.
I like that.
Thanks for that rant. Moving right along, how did you kill time during the 3-day Yontiff? Shoot a parstic. Give us your answer. You got to unmute.
Yeah. I kill time during the 3-day Yontiff. We played this game called social distancing, where we didn't see anybody. It's kind of like hide and go seek.
That's cute.
We did by Shvei Chamascha. We had
You got to go closer to your internet provider. You can call. All right, Sheila, thank you so much. Jeff.
How did I spend?
And then we were
Oh, someone's got their YouTube on.
When it was.
Whoever's got the YouTube on, just turn the volume off on your YouTube. You can
Somebody
watch.
Somebody wants to watch themselves on TV.
All right, Jeff, tell me, what was my question? How did you kill the 3-day Yontiff? You're leaning the wrong side.
Yeah, I'm just resting my eyes, honey. I'll be with you in a few minutes.
Who's next? Ezra just arrived. We'll jump over to Chaikel. Chaikel, how did you
kill time? Kill time. I mean, guys, we've been locked up for so long. Time's just killing it.
Hold on. Ezra, you gotta turn off the volume on the YouTube. There you go. Chaikel.
I said kill time. Kill time. We've been locked up for so long. Time's just killing it. Everything's just killing itself at this point.
Who's next? Oral. How did you kill time during the 3-day Yontiff?
Actually, first day it was really hard. It passed really slow, and then we literally at the end killed the time concept. We just like put screens and scotch tape on all the clocks. We didn't know what time it was. Whatever, the kids were having fun. We didn't care what time it was. When we give the kids supper, when the moon comes out, when the kids start drooling, it's fine. It's gonna happen when it's gonna happen. But at least like we literally killed the concept of time, and we killed time.
Ezra, welcome. Ezra, how did you trying to unmute you? You muted yourself. How did you spend your kill time during this 3-day Yontiff? You gotta unmute yourself.
Okay, can you hear me now?
We can hear you. Ezra!
Yes.
But you gotta turn off
Moedim l'simcha. Moedim l'simcha.
volume on YouTube. Turn off the volume.
I'm not on YouTube.
Oh.
I'm not on YouTube.
All right. So how did you kill your 3-day Yontiff? The time on the 3-day Yontiff.
Yes.
But you gotta turn off the
Moedim l'simcha. Chagim uzmanim l'sasson.
All right. Love that answer. Ezra, I muted you. Go into your YouTube, and then you'll see there's a volume on the video you're watching, or whoever's doing it. I think it's just lower that all the way to the bottom, or just press the button and it'll mute. Maybe it's one of our viewers who's actually got somehow hacked in. So if you're a viewer, you hacked in and you have your volume on, hackers just, But me personally, how did I kill? I was learning Gemara all the time.
You played board games.
Don't answer.
I wanted to make a seal on the Mesechus Pesachim so I could eat chametz.
He lost every game of chess.
Okay. You know what? Let's just get started. We're gonna get started. We're gonna get started with the first. I have the order. Moving up first is all the way from Montreal with a terrible internet connection. Hold on.
Double tap to activate. Shutting down.
Sorry.
Not a problem.
Can you just mute everybody who's not on now? Thank you.
Moving up first is all the way from Montreal.
We have an echo,
somewhere.
guys.
You've got your YouTube on. That's the problem. It might be on your phone. It might be like in the background, hovering.
I sent him the YouTube link. I think it might be on a different tab.
It might be.
I originally sent him the YouTube link by mistake instead of the Zoom link.
Heiko, this is on you.
That's your fault.
But me personally, I wanted the entire evening to have that YouTube playing in the background. I wonder how annoying and how much fun it will be for all our viewers.
Sounding a lot like my Passover Seder.
So here's how it's going to work. I've discovered that I can pin from my computer the speakers. So I'm going to let Shua unmute yourself. We're going to turn to speaker view. Shua, say hi. I want to get you pinned.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, for some reason, Shua, we can hear you. I'm pinning you. There we go. All right, Shua. Everyone, ladies and gentlemen, Shua the Parsec.
All right. So, Pesach, we.
There we go. This is a great start.
The MED song that starts, "We learned a dark, frigid cellar." And my 2-year-old knows the words, "So many tears, so much sorrow," and we all laugh. We just laugh and laugh. It's fantastic. I was thinking about Eliyahu Navi being, going around different houses. I'm a believer, and I believe that Eliana really comes around. And I don't think it's really safe. I personally, when I did Shmei Chamaska this year, I kept my distance from the door. I did not put the cup with Lysol or gloves. You gotta be safe. My wife is actually due today. So if I have to go to my wife, and having a pregnant wife over Pesach is very interesting because we, my wife is feeling lots of pressure, and I had lots of matzah, and I'm feeling lots of pressure, but I get no sympathy whatsoever. It's ridiculous.
Shua, you're having bandwidth.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I think you should turn off your video.
Go
audio only. Go audio only.
My connection okay?
Now your connection is terrible.
Can anyone hear me? I think I'm gonna try to look. I'm gonna try that. How's that?
Go, just keep going. Yeah, this is good.
There, my in-laws are by themselves, and my parents for the Seder, and so it depends. When people are alone and they're older and there's a Seder, you're either finding out that you really like this person that you're stuck with, or you're finding out lots of things that bug you. And I hope that get you to show and bias will. We took some Hamoed trips. We went from the state of disbelief to the state of absolute insanity. It was a crazy trip. Another thing, I was realizing that introverts finally have an advantage when it comes to this coronavirus thing, because we know all about social distancing. I can teach people about not interacting with other people. I don't want to do it all at once. Like if somebody comes to me one at a time, that's fine. But I can teach people about social distancing, but I can't teach them too long because I don't like people. But introverts, we rock at this. Also, I haven't spoken to my in-laws in years, and I don't go visit them, and it finally became a good thing. So I'm really grateful about that too. It's also my grandchildren are horrible grandchildren who visit, and that's finally awesome. I'm discovering the advantages of child labor over this couple of weeks, paying my children pennies to do all the things that I used to do, which is fantastic. And the last thing I wanted to mention is that I think that people with OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, they used to be, ridiculed or that wasn't in style. Now OCD finally came into style. Everybody's washing their hands. Touch the doorknob, wash your hands. Go outside, wash your hands, and then touch your nose and wash your hands. Finally, OCD people are having their moment in the limelight, and I think that's amazing. That's all for me, everybody.
Yeah. What a parsec. Woo. Great beginning. Folks, you can keep your audio on so like other people can hear you laughing, because it helps, it adds to when you're going to perform and others will hopefully laugh at you.
Also, you get to hear YouTube in the background.
I got my kids over here in the background fighting and laughing.
Yeah. Not at us, with us.
So, the next up, we're proud to bring you Saul Auerbach. You ready? You turned off your video. I think this is a theme. We got a theme running. No video tonight.
I think it was my connection.
Oh boy.
Do you hear me now?
I hear you.
You hear me?
Yeah, should I ask you to start your video?
No, my connection screwy there.
Oh, how about we put you next? Figure it out. We're gonna move along. Ezra, are you ready?
Okay.
Settings.
Yeah.
Ezra, you ready?
Phone options.
Ah, boy.
Options.
Oh, Saul is here.
Start.
All right, Saul is here. Ezra, I'm muting you. Ezra, you've got to figure out your whole YouTube situation. You've got YouTube on somewhere. Ezra, you got to look around on your computer, and there's YouTube somewhere. This is the best. Well, so hold on, I'm unmuting you, but listen, you'll see. You can hear everything twice. Ezra, I'm muting you. Ezra, you gotta figure out. See what I'm talking about?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but because
Yeah.
you are on YouTube in another tab on your computer, now I would come over personally and help you. But in these days,
Oh, I see.
yeah, you gotta get white out.
Quality.
Can you hear me? I'm ready in case he's
So
not.
basically, what you need to do now is go on your computer. You probably have a bunch of tabs at the top. One of them is on YouTube. So click on that one.
You're right. You're right. I'm sorry.
No worries.
See, I don't think you needed your kids. You could have done a whole bit with this.
I just did it. Can you hear me?
I wish my father or my Zadie lived with me.
Yeah.
All right, Ezra, are you ready? Or
Yes. Can you
Saul?
hear me?
Yeah. Saul, get into a better connection. You're jumping back and forth. Ezra,
Okay. Yes.
it's all yours. I'm pinning your video. You're on.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I had YouTube, but I didn't understand that. First of all, Modim Simcha, happy Pesach. I'm happy to be joining you again. You know, I don't know if you noticed, the BDS movement is upset because everyone's walking all these little blue and white flags around their face. So they're not too happy about that. And that's the BDS movement. But it was interesting here. Montreal, we had, and I may have told you this, is a comedian came, he was very clever, and he said, I come to Montreal, you got Fressers, you got Moishes, you got Saul, you got Schwartz's, none of them are kosher. But if you go, Yakimono, Cezanne, Chioko, these are all the kosher ones, Mozart. But I was interested that, first of all, I like to make people laugh, so I tell jokes, because I believe in tikkun olam, not tikkun olam, tikkun olam, make the world laugh, you tickle the world. And also, I was in Israel, and this woman had been to the kibbutz, and she goes, I don't understand, the Israelis are so smart, but every dog on the kibbutz had the same name. What was that? Bo. Well, that was the name of the dogs. And I told her, actually, it was on Shabbos, I said, Shabbos Menucha. She goes, she wasn't that religious. She goes, Shabbos Menucha, is that this Shabbos? She was getting mixed up, Shabbos Agadol, Shabbos this. So this was Shabbat Menucha. And there was a guy, if you know Hebrew, there's a girl was driving with her father in Israel, and they're listening to the music, and they're playing Elvis Presley. And she says, oh, Elvis Presley, he loves to love trucks. She goes, what are you talking about? It's true, but how did you know that? You're too young. He goes, listen to his song. He says, love me tender. And tender in Israel is a truck. Shalom bayis is very important nowadays, especially we're all home, not going out. And somebody said, I heard once, someone says, shalom bayis comes from shalom bayit. If you wanted to be happy, you got to go out there and buy it. So that's where it comes from. It's a true story. I was in Toronto, and this woman was on Pesach, and she dropped her Haggadah. And I may have said this before, but she went to kiss it. I said, you don't have to kiss the Haggadah. You have to give it a good hug, because it's a Haggadah. Haggadah. This is a true story. I was telling this joke on a Shabbos table about this guy. He goes to a psychologist and says, I'm having trouble with my wife. She thinks she's a refrigerator. So, wow, he'd never heard this before. So they start talking for about an hour, going to marriage, the pluses, the minuses. Finally, the psychologist says, look, and I told this at somebody's Shabbos table, and he says, look, if that's the only problem, that you can't live with that, just she thinks she's a refrigerator? He says, I would. She's a lovely woman, but every time when I want to go to sleep and she opens her mouth, the light keeps me awake. So I said, so one of the kids says at the Shabbos table, wait, there's lights in fridges? He didn't even know that there were lights in fridges because they were always taking it off. In Montreal, actually, there was a woman who was driving up kids, taking them to school. And if you know Montreal, she was driving on Westminster under the little tunnel, the bridge. And she said she went to the doctor because she kept on getting this terrible headache whenever she arrived at the school. So she went to her doctor, he listened to her story. And he says, you know what? I think you've got carpool tunnel syndrome. Different. The rabbis say, of course, that a man is not complete until he's married, and then he's finished. You know, I'm an optometrist. And I had one woman, she was so good with contact lenses, she was so expert, she could even put the contacts in with her eyes closed. That's how good she was. And one last story is that in Har Nof in Yerushalayim, it's a true story. This man was doing, I think I might have mentioned it once another time, but he was looking in the lockers and he found this huge pile of books from the Chofetz Chaim. The Chofetz Chaim was really about telling people not to, that looked good. So he went door to door and he was selling these books and he was doing very well. He comes to one house, the host opens the door, and this is the owner, and he says, oh, that's great, Chofetz Chaim, but you know, this is not for us. We're so strict about Lashon Hara. This is just isn't for us, it's a waste because we're so strict about it. But you know what? Our neighbors could use it, you know? Anyway, that was the Chofetz Chaim joke. So wish you all, you know what they say in Dutch? Maybe you don't know this. They say, eat matzahs met gezond, that you should eat matzahs in good health. So we should all eat matzahs in good health, and next year, God willing, in Yerushalayim.
Amen. Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
And ends with a bracha too. I love it. Great stuff. Great stuff. Ezra Franken, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And you know, my marriage is called a workshop because I work in shops.
You've got to turn off your video if you want to comment. All right, we're going to moving right along. Next up, coming all the way from Ottawa. He's done the open mic circuit. Oh, wait. First, I'm sorry. I skipped Saul. Saul, all the way from New York City. Yeah, we see you. We hear you.
We hear you.
Saul Auerbach.
Thank you. I had to switch my whole room around just to get myself in a spot where I could have connection in this basement down here. I live in a Jewish basement, so obviously they're pretty Jewish with the service. So anyway, happy Pesach, everybody. Happy Passover. We're going to talk about Passover today. Pesach, Passover, whichever one you want to call it. And for all my non-Jewish friends watching, Pesach is Passover in Hebrew. And it's also the holiday in which even kosher food is not kosher enough for most Jewish people. I can't wait for next Passover, said no Jew ever. The way I look at it is Passover, Pesach, is God's punishment to the Jews for all the crazy stuff we did on Purim. And Purim, for those who know, it's the Jewish drinking holiday. God's like, yeah, you want to drink? You want to get wasted? Yeah, go ahead if you clean your room for a month.
Woo!
Yeah, I thought I'm going to be cleaning a few people's floors for that joke, but okay, thanks for going for it. Thank you. If not for Passover, I don't think any Jewish dormitories would ever be clean. No yeshiva dormitories would ever be clean if not for Pesach. And I'm a little surprised that God requires us to drink 4 cups of wine on Pesach. Only 4? That's not enough to deal with all the Pesach cleaning. And definitely not enough to deal with all the diet changes. I mean, I'm a sober person. I don't drink alcohol. But if I'm told I have to eat matzah for 8 days, even I want to down a few vodkas. Pesach might as well be called the every Jew eats gluten-free only holiday for 8 days.
Home screen 1 of 5.
What was that?
I'll mute it. Go.
Oh, okay.
Keep going. It's great.
Yeah, I never spoke to Siri once, and if I tried to, she wouldn't like me. So it definitely wasn't me.
He's heckling you.
You're heckled by Alexa.
It might as well be called the Every Jew Eats Only Gluten-Free holiday. There's another name for it, but this is a kosher show, so I want to keep it at that. Every gluten-free Jewish person's Manishtana question. Why is this night like every other night? Here's something that actually happened. Someone called me about a charity, and they're like, we have a Passover campaign to help poor people who can't afford Passover food. And I'm like, you're probably calling to help me because I got no money. And then they hung up the phone. If they wanted to know why I have no money, I would have showed them my comedy clips. Thank you. We often hear Jewish people say, on Pesach, we often hear Jewish people say, next year in Jerusalem. That's what we often hear them say at the end of Pesach. You hear a Jew say next year in Jerusalem after Pesach, what he really means to say is next year in Miami. Also, 420 is coming up, which is National Pot Smoke Holiday. And yeah, exactly, right? I can totally see Jewish stoners on Pesach be like, I feel like the matzah because I can get baked in less than 18 minutes. And their wives would be like, or girlfriends would be like, you keep that up, our relationship won't last the length of the Seder. Yeah, with these jokes, my career's not going to last very long. You know, I can't decide what's more annoying, cleaning for Pesach or a month of Christmas music.
Woo!
I gotta say both. Thank you. I gotta say both of them has had me questioning my sobriety. And you know, I gotta say that God makes Jewish holidays for people with all different types of illnesses. You know, he made Purim for the alcoholics, Shavuos for the insomniacs, Hanukkah and Lag BaOmer for the pyromaniacs, and Pesach for people with OCD. And I want to add something. I'm going to leave you with this. Recently, this happened in real life. I went to court for some delinquents on my credit card bill, which basically means I'm being sued by the credit card company for money I owe them, you know, for various reasons. And they're right. I owe them the money. Don't be surprised. I'm a comedian, so we obviously have no money. But, you know, and I went to court and they're like, your case was postponed till after the virus. I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, your case was postponed till after the virus. I'm like, but didn't you guys say you're open? They're like, yeah, we're only open for the important cases, like the real important cases. I'm like, and this was the security guy, you know, at the place telling me that. And I'm like, so you pretty much just told me that my credit card bill is not important. If only this security guy was the head of the credit card company. Thank you guys for tuning in. I just want to say that whoever's watching, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, please say tell your friends Saul Auerbach rocked. If you didn't like it, tell them Jimmy Kimmel sucked. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Saul Auerbach, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
That was amazing. I just wanted to comment. Yeah, my son is clapping. He loved it. I wanted to comment that you mentioned about the stoners. They're like the only ones who still went on Chol trips.
Yeah, you know, I mean, they say the acid trip is the only trip you can go on without leaving your house, you know?
Exactly. So for those watching, by the way, first of all, you can share this around everywhere. You can comment if you ask questions. Maybe we'll ask questions to the comedians as we go along. Hope you're enjoying. And let's move right along. Next up, coming all the way from Ottawa, Ontario. This guy is actually my cousin. Are you my cousin or my uncle? Jeff.
I'm your cousin. I got
Okay, good.
connections.
I'm not sure. We're related. No, he's my mother's brother's son. But yeah, and like we weren't in touch, and then I found out you're doing comedy, and it's awesome. He's doing open mics in Ottawa. Jeff Allen, ladies and gentlemen, woo! Jeff, it's all yours.
Thank you, Zvi. Thanks for doing this, and it's good to have connections. As a Jew, you got to be connected. You know what I mean, right? Well, it's a tough time, folks. We're going through a hard time right now. No question about it. This COVID-19 stuff, the self-isolation. I like all the jokes about, people are talking about, like driving. I took a drive and I went driven crazy kind of stuff. COVID-19 is serious business, people. Even Jewish mother guilt has been suspended. Like, that's how serious it is, okay? Like, you got your state of emergency here, and then you've got like the suspension of Jewish mother guilt up here. Usually it's like, Ma, I couldn't call you. I was in the hospital. I was in a coma. What don't you understand? Well, you couldn't ask the nurse to text me. Ma, I was being tortured in a foreign prison. What do you want from me? Well, they don't have phones in prison. Now it's like, Ma, I'm going to come over and take care of you. I want to help you. No, don't come. Please, I don't need you here. It's okay. That's how serious all this is. So it's interesting. I have a non-Jewish mother-in-law, and there's a big difference. It's great comedic material because there's a big difference between what Jewish mothers and non-Jewish mother-in-laws will share about their aches and pains. I have a grandmother who's 101, Baruch Hashem, knock on wood. She's 101 years old. I'm telling you, it's amazing. And when she was a little younger, she used to have a problem with her finger, and she used to go like this. She said, I'm having a problem with my finger. Look at my finger. Look at it. Look at my finger. She was very concerned about sharing her aches and pains. I asked my mom, a few months ago, Mom, you want to go out for dinner? I can't. I got a cold sore. Look, you see the cold sore? Look at it. Look at the cold sore. Look at the cold sore. Once she had a toe ache for a week, and I heard about it every day for a week. Then the non-Jewish mother-in-law comes to visit. She's staying with us. She's got a long dress on, and she's limping. After 3 days, I say to my wife, what's wrong with her? She had her leg amputated. She never said a word. My mother's got a toe. Every day I'm hearing about her nonstop. The non-Jewish mother-in-law, she has no leg. The tip of her lip, not a word. Boy, I tell you. Something else, wasn't it, folks? I mean, all over the world, people were asking the same 4 questions via Zoom. Not the 4 questions, not the fear caution. The 4 questions. Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me? Can you see me? Can you see me? How do I unmute the audio? How do I turn on the video? I had some mixed feelings about the Passover Seder via Zoom. Obviously, it's good to have that kind of technology. It was a new experience, right, folks? I guess I was a little sad because I couldn't be in the same house with certain family members, but I was also happy because I couldn't be in the same house with certain family members. You know what I mean? Someone's yawning on the screen there. I hope I'm not keeping you up or anything like that. I like Zoom. I like the mute button in Zoom. I think that's a technological marvel, the mute button. Wouldn't you have liked to have applied the mute button in previous Seders? Uncle Solly, we're missing your political diatribe. We can't hear you. We can't hear anything you're saying, Uncle Solly. You know that diatribe that you give at every Seder that you've given since I was 5 years old? The one in which you have not added any new facts or any new knowledge in 43 years? That's the diatribe. We can't hear it. Uncle Solly, we're trying to hear what you think about Donald Trump. It's just, unfortunately, you're just not coming through, Uncle Solly. That's a wonderful invention. I'm sure there'll be lots of jokes about the mute button when we're back at the table with each other for Passover Seder. I think the other feature that people really seem to like is messaging behind people's backs. You know what I mean? You don't even have to leave the room to stab people in the back. Listen, we'd love to sit at the Seder table, but my cousin and I, we need to go get the matzah. We might even need a third person because it's so heavy. Let's all leave the room. I just can't stand her. Why did you invite her again this year? Well, She's having a bar mitzvah next month, and I hear there's a good buffet. Now you can do it all. You just sit down and you just send the message. Why does Aunt Fanny have to talk so much? Just make sure you send it privately and you don't do it so everyone can see. I made a big mistake, folks. Big mistake. I organized a Zoom organizing pre-Seder meeting. I'm sure there's a better name for it than that, but that's what I'm called it. I thought it would last 5 minutes. It lasted 5 hours. I think the problem is Jews can't organize a 2-car parade. So, we get on the phone. We used old-fashioned technology, the phone. I said, look, folks, we had about 5 or 6 relatives on the phone. I said, look, folks, I don't have more than 5 minutes for this. There's only one thing I want to tell you. We're using Zoom. And I'll send you a message. I'll send you a link about 2 hours. What? Wait a second. What Zoom? Morty, just a minute. Morty, do you know Zoom? They want to use Zoom, Morty. Well, we don't use that one, do we? What do we use? What's it called? It's a Facebook? Can we do this on Facebook? I'm already starting the messaging. You had to invite her to the planning Seder. Passover seems to bring out the best and worst in people. With self-isolation. I say, Ma, you should go for a walk. Stretch your legs. No, I can't. I don't want to catch the virus. Next day, Ma, I called. You and Dad weren't home. Yeah, we went out. Are you kidding? You said you weren't going out. Now both of you went out? Yeah, we went shopping. They had a big sale on matzah. It was 5% off. It really is a challenge in this time, folks. We got to count our blessings. I said I have a grandmother, 101. I've got a great aunt, 105. No joke, touch wood. It seems like when people cross a certain age threshold, people's views change about that person. Before people were about 95, it's like, I can't ever liked her. She's too fussy. She talks too much. She thinks she knows everything. She always comes over to my house for dinner. She never even brought so much as a tomato. Whatever. After 95, she's amazing. Why? What did she do? She's alive. Folks, that's all I got for you. Woo! Stay safe and look after yourselves, and hopefully we can do this in person sometime. Thanks a lot.
Wow, Jeff Allen, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! That was fantastic. Like us religious folks, my parents were alone and they did a Zoom Seder. It lasted 10 minutes. That's how fast, zoomed right through it. I had to say that in case anyone would think guys, Zoom Seders.
I've done a Seder with your parents, and when we did it in English and Hebrew, I was about 12 years old, and I think it lasted until about 2 o'clock in the morning, something like that. So 10 minutes is quite an accomplishment from my perspective.
Exactly. Ours lasted till 2 o'clock. Am I right? I'm right? He says I'm right. It lasted till 2 o'clock in the morning.
That's because you patted the Afi Coleman last night or a few nights ago. That's why he's answering right.
I'm still trying to find it, but I'm not gonna give in. He wants to get amusement park tickets. This poor guy right now. Okay, moving right along, we have a lineup change. Arl is supposed to go next, but there's someone who wanted to move ahead. So sorry, Arl, but
go ahead.
Next up,
Sure.
Coming all the way from Cleveland. Did he leave already? Oh no, he's still here. Coming all the way from Cleveland, Ohio. Are you ready to go, Jakob Fisher? Woo!
Hey everyone, how's everyone doing? Sounds like everyone here is having an enjoyable Hamoed so far. To be honest, I thought we were going to get away with it this year. My kids pressured me. Got to go on a trip. So finally, 2 in the afternoon, we got our act together. We packed up all the potato chips and the juice boxes. We went to the living room. By the time we got there were 20 Hasidic families. It was brutal. My kids had to wait 2 hours to jump on the couch. Anyhow, okay, so everyone's been talking about Pesach. Let's look ahead a little bit. Let's hope that Amir Hashem soon we're gonna be able to get back out there again. So I got some points here that were sent to me by the Congregational Distancing Committee or the Hasidic Davening Committee on how to get back into safe practice of Jewish minhagim once we get back to them. Again, these are not mine; they're from the CDC. Certain things that are of big concern by davening is that we get too close to each other. Biggest mourning that they feel is Isa Shalom, Tur Yisrael, people back up. and you might bump into someone who's not up to there yet. If you're Ashkenaz, davening in Young Israel, and you do a 3-step micro shuffle, you're fine. If you're a Hasidic Yid, a Haimish Yid, you will now be required to wear a retrofitted gartel with a truck backing up beeper in order to make sure you don't do anything else. Also, Yekis are excluded because everyone knows they all back up at exactly the same time. So there's no risk of anyone bumping into each other. The other thing that they recommend is that before Yominu Small, the Gabbai makes a loud clap to wake up all the habitual sleepers so they don't end up face to face with the aggressive Lechadoidi guy. But at the end of Kabbalah Shabbos, you're more likely to get spit on if that happens. Speaking of spit on, the next thing they recommended was no coughing or spitting in shul. Coughing, okay. Spitting might affect some people's alenu, but I'm not going to get involved in that. That's some people's minhagim, not mine. Yekis also complimented on this one. They didn't know that coughing was even permitted in shul. Fascinating.
Woo!
While we're going through this, we also have to think about some life hacks, because guys, things are bad out there, and some people are dying to just get a mikveh and a minyan. Bad. So we all know what's going to happen next. We all know that we're creative people. People are going to start faking their own deaths to get, they'll get the tahara. They'll hear that everyone's gathered at the cemetery, and they'll bust right out, putting on their gartel, start saying Ashrei, look around, they go, no one here is obviously really a chiyuv. And they could just start davening right there in the cemetery. But if you can do something smart like this, use seichel. I heard a couple people got busted when they changed their tzava last week to include their talis, tefillin, and an axe. You're going to give it away if you do something like that. Just ask them to loosen the casket a little bit. Have your son say something like that. Let's see, what else can we do to be safe? All Ashkenazic shuls have discontinued the practice of a kiddush. And in fact, all Haimish shuls and shtiblach have instituted a serious no double dipping in the herring till at least Simchas Torah. After that, all bets are off. Just a word of advice: if Chas v'Shalom we're not out of here soon, and everyone is learning Shavuos night at home, like I know everyone will stay up, make sure your wife goes to sleep for at least 20-30 minutes so she can say brachas for you. And when she says She'asani kirtzane, don't laugh. Be very serious and appreciate it. We mean that too. Let's see. I think everyone other than that has really been safe. But again, we're going to start ending up with puns as soon as we get back. Those guys that are going to be late to shul, and they're going to show up halfway through, and they're going to say, oh, I forgot Minyanim started again. That's funny for like the first 14 days. After that, we're going to institute a policy that after you make this joke, whoever makes this joke is getting the following kibud. You will be having the Sheni or Shlishi Sefer Torah, the Sefer Shlishi, on the heaviest, oldest Torah in the shul for the next 3 shalosh regalim. No one is going to say this joke after a week. I promise you.
Woo!
Guys, I got to get going. But, one last life hack. I know even now people are trying to get back to, people want to get to the mikvah. I know all the men's mikvahs are closed. But what you got to do is you got to take the biggest keli in your house, not glass. Some of the men's mikvahs are open. If you hurry in there and you use it, as long as you can tell anyone that walks in that you just dropped this big kiddush cup to the bottom and you didn't want to get your clothes wet, you can probably get away with toveling in a keli mikvah, but please don't quote me on it, okay? If anyone does do that, don't quote me. I gotta run. Have a great Yontiff. Chag kosher v'sameach. Take care, everyone.
Aha! Woo! Yaakov Fisher, ladies and gentlemen, that was phenomenal. Thank you for those great guidance from the CDC. Phenomenal, great stuff. Moving along, Orel Gosnell coming all the way from Montreal. You can follow him on Instagram. He is a celeb, and you definitely want to give him a follow. Probably the most entertaining Instagram follow that I have. It's a lot of fun interacting with Orel, and he's got a huge following. Give him a follow on Instagram. Orel Gosnell, you're up. Go.
Thank you, everybody. Do you hear me well? Fine.
Yeah. We can hear you.
Perfect. So my name is Orel Gosnell, as you said it. First time doing a stand-up comedy show, to be honest. I think the perfect platform to do it is Zoom. You know, you don't have a crowd in front of you. You can't see if you're good or not. You know, you can't get booed. They can't throw stuff at you. So that's already amazing. Honestly, and we'll see exactly where it goes. My biggest dilemma today was knowing like what to wear for tonight's show. You know, should I wear my day PJ, my night PJ, a full out outfit, or just like a top? Because you know we just see the top part on the camera, and not the bottom. Then I said, you know what? I don't know. You know, it's the first time we're gonna do stand-up comedy sitting down. You know, so maybe it's my chance to do something crazy. So I'm gonna tell you exactly what I decided to wear. I'm gonna show it to you exactly. I hope the computer is gonna stay on the desk. So it's called a djellaba. Okay, a djellaba, gandoura. It's a Moroccan classic tenue, like a dress. That is actually the four things that I just saw. It's a day PJ. I can wear it during the day. It's a night PJ because it's really light. It's a full-out outfit because in Morocco you can like walk in the streets like that, fully in a djellaba, and it's also only the top part. Don't be scared. Don't go anywhere. It's fully like it's until the feet. So I put it on top, and there's no bottom piece, but it covers everything. Snoot, Heimish, I know everything's fine. So that was my first decision for tonight. Then I said, so as you can see, by my broken English, I'm Sephardic. I'm Moroccan from Montreal. You're gonna have to try to adapt to my English because it's not that perfect. The problem is mostly the emphasis of the word. I don't know what syllable to put the emphasis, the emphasis, the emphasis. So it's like really like a challenge. That's the biggest challenge for me in English. And I wanted to talk to you about like my perspective basically on this coronavirus, how it affected all of us, but in different ways. I want to speak about like in the Sephardic world, how does it affects us basically. First of all, I've learned a lot about myself. You know, we don't have the chance to like just stop and think about what we do, about who are we and everything. My first that's the first thing that I learned about me is my relationship with food. Okay, that's the important first relationship that I started to think about. As you can see, it's been a really long-term relationship. We've seen each other grow, you know, in length, in weight, in volume, through good and bad times. And it's supporting me a lot, you know, to eat all through this difficult time. Each time I go and I open the fridge, you know, my wife tells me, "Really? I think it's just like boredom hunger. You don't have nothing to do, so you eat. Try to like occupy yourself, do something, try to do another activity instead, you know." So I tried mopping the floor while eating a matzah, a sandwich. I've tried reading while eating an ice cream cup. I've tried correcting with cookies and a glass of milk, you know. And I told her at the end, you see, I'm doing something, but like it's not boredom eating. I'm clearly like doing something, so it's not boredom eating. She told me, okay, it's not boredom eating. Maybe it's like stress eating. You're nervous eating. You know, you're eating your emotions up. And at some point, I'm like, really? Emotions are edible at this point? Like, is it sweet, salty? You know, what can you put? Can you put mayo on it? But at the end, she tells me, you know, when you're stressed or you're scared, you eat. So she tells me, try to get like ideas on how to relax, try to change your ideas. So I tried doing like pudding cake eating yoga. I tried to do stretching with chocolate mousse. I tried to do some breathing exercise with cotton candy. You know, I'm going to show you exactly how it works. The cotton candy, you put it in front of you, and then for the inhalation, you take an inhalate and you eat everything that you can in this respiration. Okay, and then when you have the stick of cotton candy to see where's your breath go out, you just do, and you see the cotton candy do like that. And when it stops doing that, it means you don't have air anymore. And then you do another breathing. So you eat, and then you relax. And that's what my exercise was. Basically, I realized after that my wife was right. I told her, thanks, my love. Because of you, I discovered that it was nervous eating. After doing those relaxation exercise, I feel a lot better now. And that was the amazing stuff in what I discovered. Also in our house, we use the technique they use in the stores. You know, now we line up in front of the fridge, one in front of the other, because we have a small kitchen. And I don't know why, for some reason, I'm always, my wife puts me always at the last of the line. I don't know why. It bugged me a bit that I'm always the last in the line to get my snack. You know, it started to stress me, it bugged me, it made me uncomfortable. So I found the solution because it brings stress on me. I decided to do my relaxation exercise right before snack time. So I go in the fridge, I take all my accessories for the relaxation exercise, and then I do my relaxation exercise with the cotton candy and everything, and then I am able to calm myself and basically.
I think you went to the wrong place.
Oh, hold on.
Okay. And so, yeah, food has really been here for me. Secondly, I wanted to talk about something that's really important. We know the elders are really touched by this virus, and the governments, yes, we know, have taken measures to protect them. But for my perspective in the Sephardic Moroccan world, I feel that the measures that were put in place by the government is actually more dangerous for the elders of the Sephardic community. I explain myself, okay? In the Sephardic community, we're really dependent on human touch, okay? We kiss, we pinch, we slap, we hit, we like to touch, okay? We're really touchy people, and that shows the love, you know. And with the social distancing measure in place, I'm scared they won't be able to touch us, to pinch us, to kiss us, to slap us. So what's gonna happen? Unfortunately, I'm scared they're gonna start like enjoying themselves, self-pinching, self-harming, you know. It's true. Don't laugh because it's true. I remember with my friend, I always went to his house, and his mom used to pinch me, and not long ago, it was 5 years ago, and pinch me, and oh, you're so cute, you're so cute, and I used to go, and it made me uncomfortable. So my solution was basically each time that I'm going to go to this friend, I'm going to tell her I'm sick, and like that she's not going to touch me anymore. But that didn't stop there. It didn't solve the problem. Each time I would go there and tell her I'm sick, she would hurt herself. She would take her own cheek and say, "Oh yeah, if you weren't sick, what I would do to you?" Pinching herself. Okay, and so imagine imagine. You see the emphasis. Imagine the bruises that they can have on themselves. They can do on themselves with the pinching. No one to pinch. No one to slap. No one to kiss. They might even start like debates with themselves and say something with what they're not agreeing about, just to slap themselves or to pinch themselves or to hurt themselves. You know, it can go to that extent of a degree. And you know, even if it's not enough, the self hurting and the self discussing, imagine, okay, they start creating or inventing new siblings, new kids, new sons and daughters, so they have somebody to pinch imaginarily. Okay, imagine that they do that. Okay, imagine you call your mom after first hug and you say, "Mom, I heard in the news that we're gonna go back to school before May 4th," and your mom is like, "Yeah, that's not what your brother Jacob said." Who? Your brother? You know, with his political science background, he knows more than you, and you're like, "What the hell is happening?" So it can hurt them basically a lot, physically and psychologically. Lasting, and I see this as a problem, would be the power. I think our friend Jeff talked about it before. He said the guilt, the Jewish mother guilt. We have the Jewish mother guilt, but with food. Okay, the food they do, they make you feel guilty. Okay, especially when you don't eat their food. Okay, what's the problem with all that? Okay, you see, Sephardic moms, they have their own way of calculating amounts. Okay, a normal woman would count how many heads are around the table and cook enough amount so that each people has at least one portion of each meal, or a little bit better, a little bit more. But Sephardic mom does this calculation per head, and then when she has the total amount, she multiplies it by 4. Okay, so she does a lot more that is supposed to have. So imagine, so too much food on the table, and when we're full, the making you feel guilty is going to start. You know, oh, you didn't like my food. That's it. You're not hungry. Yeah, you didn't like the taste. And you feel bad, and you start eating and eating and shoving it in your mouth even if you don't want it. Now the problem is, even if she was alone for Passover, the amount she's going to make is still the same with the times 3 and everything. So basically, what's going to happen? She's going to have all this food, no one to blame. She's going to start self-blaming her, self-guilt her, and she's going to eat all the food basically that she cooked. No, I cooked the whole food. I cooked everything, my own food with the good spices, with everything. I'm not going to eat it. And she's going to start eating it. And you're going to call her, "Mom, how was your chag?" "I don't know. I had stomach aches. I barfed a little bit." What happened? You know, I did all the food, and I had to eat it. It was a good quantity, a lot of a big quantity. So I had to eat it. So I almost ate it. What do you mean almost? Well, I ate the most, and Jacob was here to help me finish it. So basically, I said those are the problems. Now we have to have solutions. You know, it can't just be problems and that's it. I want to give solutions basically. So for my relationship with the food, there's no solution because there's no problem. Okay, that's the way I am. That's the way it'll stay because it's a solution to a just bigger problem. So next problem for the problem of human contact and self-harming, you can buy those heads. Okay, those heads. That's an example. You can try and give it this to your parents and say, "Here, mommy, I'm not here with you for the hug. Try to remember that this is me." Okay, and if you want to pinch here. If you want to bite here. Don't bite yourself. Don't bite me. I won't be here anyways. But try to concentrate, and you can personalize it also. If you have a big nose, do big nose. If you have a little eye more than the other, you do it. It's not a problem, and it's gonna solve the problem. Also for the food, you won't be able to make her stop doing the amount she does. She's gonna do it still, but call her before Chag and take all the food at home. So you eat it, no guilt, and everybody's gonna be happy. If you have anything that's left over and it's too much for you, call me. I'll come pick it up. I'll finish it for you. And if it's too much for me, I'll split with my brother Jacob. Thank you, guys.
All right, Gosnell, ladies and gentlemen, great stuff. Woo! All right.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, Oral, my excuse when my wife asks me, she catches me eating all the time. I got to do my 100 brachas every day, so that's yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Every night I'm very makpid on chicken chatzais. It's she catches me in the fridge. I do my chicken. It's time for a little Dvar Torah, folks. The Gemara says that
now everyone's going to fall asleep.
Yes. In a place where the Gemara says, in a place where Baalei Tshuva stand, even tzaddikim, even complete tzaddikim cannot stand. Seriously, you don't want to mess with their makom kavua. My mother is a Baalei Tshuva, and the truth is that Pesach is the hardest time of the year for us sons of BTs, because our parents take on the biggest they take on the greatest chumras, and they don't even take on they don't even have historic reasons, like FFBs. They're in 1596, my ancestor Necha, who every single Necha that is alive in the world today is named after, she got her head chopped off in a blood libel, and saving all the Jews of Russia, probably you too, in fact. And ever since then on Pesach, we don't eat any fruits or vegetables that are round. Or they'll be like, my family doesn't eat potatoes because back in the day in the shtetl, the potato fields were next to a field that had a worker who used to munch on cucumbers, but he'd leave the peels down. And these cucumbers came from fields that were right next to a city that manufactured bags that they kept wheat inside of. So we don't touch potatoes. In the meantime, us sons of BTs, we're our family tradition. We during the Seder, we take our bowls of soup with matzah balls and we pour it over the heads of our wives and children, because our ancestor's rabbi was a bit of a prankster. And the truth is, we inherit all sorts of weird minhagim, mainly because nobody really bothered to go through all the fine details with our parents. So I never knew that for years. I didn't know that you're allowed to bathe during Sfir Saimer. You can shower? Are you allowed to sing in it? Does it only have to be a cappella? I didn't know the rules. I honestly thought that the reason why 24,000 students of Rabbi Akiva died in a plague, the entire plague, was because people were just not bathing. Then I spoke with my mother's Rav, and it turns out that it was actually because of Sinat Chinam. That's the whole plague began. They weren't allowed to put on deodorant from Pesach all the way till Shavuos. So to commemorate it, we still today don't put on deodorant for 50 days straight. I also, other things that just because I'm the son of a BT, I had no idea that when you go to the dish mikvah, you're supposed to you're supposed to wear clothes. The only way I found out was when my uncle tried to title a toaster in the mikvah. May he rest in peace. And
that's why.
Yeah, well, that there was a whole restraining order. I mean, it's kind of weird going on shidduchim and trying to tell trying to say I'm sorry, we can't meet within 60 meters of any mikvahs. Like they don't understand. My mother had another issue, like getting Makarat through Chabad. Like she had to learn all this Yiddish, and Yiddish comes with these crazy autocorrect issues. Like for example, whenever we heard sad news, my mother would say, "It should be a kaparis." Like, someone died. It should be a kaparis. The only time that was ever appropriate was when my friend's budgies died. It should be a kaparis. Now that's an idea. We also, when we had our firstborn son, she gave us this wish: your son should grow up to be a chassan, Yerushalayim, and a Melamed. And this is a true story. I once walked into the kitchen. My mother was in there sobbing. She was just sobbing. I said, "What's wrong, Mom?" She was listening to the Miami Boys Choir new album, and she started singing along. Rebbe, 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 please come back and help us. Rebbe, 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 please come right now. Rebbe, Rebbe. You guys can see where I was going. Speaking about, Rebbes, my mother once, like she didn't understand these things coming in Chabad. Like I once, I had a whole Rebbe card collection. And she threw out all the Misnagdish Gedolim. The Rebbe card collection. Do any of you guys grow up with these Rebbe cards, these Gedolim cards? There you go.
Yeah, I was like 11.
You were like 11. So these are these cards that they had. They were there to educate us and make us feel great and make us learn about these beautiful Rabbonim, the Chafetz Chaim, and the Alter Rebbe, all these different things. They had a picture on the card. The problem was that they didn't realize where it goes. I think, by the way, I still have an autographed rookie card of Rabbi Kanievsky, but they didn't realize it was kind of insulting. It was like people were like, "I'll trade you 5 Baal Hatanyas for one Vilna Gaon," or it was even worse. I know a kid who traded like 12 different Rebbe cards for a pack of gum. Now, that's just offensive. That's just insulting. I believe this whole Rebbe cards, and people now, you have people who are going off the derech, you have people who are starting to get more frum. Someone needs to create an app to connect these people where you could trade like 100 Rebbe cards for 5 seasons of Game of Thrones. I guess my point is, if you're going to, if you're going to become, decide to get a little more frum, get a little more religious, choose your rabbi carefully. Like personally, me, I would go with like a Sephardic rabbi because like on Pesach, your smartphone dies, you can put it in some kitnias. So to me, it's a no-brainer. Anyway, let's move right along. Next up is Michael Kaufman, all the way from Cleveland, Ohio. You can follow him, Michael K, the letter K, on Twitter. Michael, you're up.
Thank you. That was great. Thank you, Yapchik face. I'm Ashkenazi. We don't do Chol face on Pesach. Sorry, but that was great. Thank you. It was very, very enjoyable. How am I coming through? I'm coming through all right.
We can hear you.
Hear you? I was just on a call with Louis Shiner, a Zoom call, and he said it was freezing. It's freezing. I wasn't sure if it was a bad connection or if it was about to start mincha by a siyum or something. So I've never done this before. My first time, my first stand-up, my first live show. Yeah, basically, I mean, what happened was I was sitting around all day, middle of the day in my pajamas, not working, no work to do, and I was like, hey, I'm basically a comedian. Just got to write some material. And that's all. I can do that. But yeah, a big shout out to Chol Face, first of all, for arranging this. But he was coaching me, gave me a lot of good pointers. I really appreciate it. Gave me the time of day and got me here, got me to where I am today. But to be honest, I'll be honest. I don't consider myself a professional comedian, I think there's one thing that you, in today's days for sure, a professional from comedian, a professional from comedian really needs to have, and I don't have it. I think every professional from comedian has to have a Ka'ela joke, and I don't have one. So I'm gonna, I don't know, comedian, I'm gonna try this out, see where it goes, but no Ka'ela jokes. Yeah, I have my word on that one. No offense to anyone who has one. But I was pretty nervous to do this. My friend Moishi, actually, beforehand, I was like, he's like, don't worry, do what they always say you should do. Picture everyone in their underwear. And I'm like, that's not going to be too hard. No one's put on pants in like over 2 weeks. So I think we're going to be good with that. But speaking of underpants, while we're on the subject, I keep on thinking about my kids. Now, my poor kids, what they're going through these days. Like literally my kids and all our kids, they're living literally my nightmare. They are going through what I used to wake up and sweat over. My kids are in class and they're realizing they're not wearing pants. And I can't even imagine. Oh my gosh. That's like, yeah. So no segue, WhatsApp is great. We arranged this little thing on WhatsApp. But you know, a lot of things we could fix on this. I had an idea. I think we should have a Klal Yisrael WhatsApp chat. Right? Now, hear me out. We all yeah, Mashiach's here, done, one post, good, and we're all good, right? That's great. Not gonna, whatever. But you know, we always get the same memes and 50 different chats. And it's like, and then 1 month later, it's posted on our family chat. And it's like, yeah, Bubby, I get it. Coronavirus, Corona beer. Yeah. No, I get it. Yeah. No. It's hilarious. Just 2 months too late. But you know, if we had a Klal Yisrael chat, it's just like one person posts that meme, and then any other chat, it's like, dude, that was on the Klal Yisrael chat. Don't you like? Come on, no, not cool. I mean, of course, little awkward. Somebody leaves. I'm like, PM him. Hey, you need any Game of Thrones DVDs? Maybe I'm missing a couple of Chaims if you have. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, this coronavirus. It's a big topic today, these days. I heard a rumor. I don't know if this is true, but there was a rumor going around Lakewood, and I didn't confirm, but there was a rumor going around that all these bachrim, all these boys that are in shidduchim, they're standing 5 feet 8 inches away from people and telling people it's 6 feet. I don't know if it's true. But this is the rumor going around. I don't know. So what normally I actually have a travel agency. That's really my profession. Obviously, I'm not gonna lie. This is not the greatest time in history for travel agents. I mean, even Kriyas Yontiff, we were booking cruises, you know, doing well. This is a rough time, but it's not all bad. Until now, every single time I like said a joke by the table, my wife would be like, okay, don't quit your day job. Now I say a joke and I'm like, ha! I can't quit my day job. So now what are you gonna do about it? So yeah, God's possible, but you know, you got to stay one step ahead. Even when things are bad, you got to think what's going to be. You got to, you know, like Wayne Gretzky, you got to skate to the puck. You got to figure out. So I've been brainstorming here and figuring out. We got to figure out what's the next big Jewish travel destination. Like we got Lezhensk, we got all these things. If I can get ahead, right, I can make back all that money like that. So I've been thinking about it, and I have it. I nailed it. Okay, guys, listen up. No one steals, please. This is copyright Chaiko, okay? Please. But I got it. We have the song. All right, listen up. Wuhan, Wuhan, Rosh Hashanah, Wuhan, Wuhan, Rosh Hashanah, Wuhan, Wuhan, Rosh Hashanah, Wuhan, Wuhan, Rosh. We have so many songs already prepared, I'm telling you. And the feedback, wow, we've been testing it. So far, every single person has come back positive.
Great ending there.
So, yeah, but you know, it's crazy what's been going on. I was driving around the other day, and the streets are deserted. Until I realized I'm living in Cleveland. That's just the way these streets are. I mean, like, when we were arranging this Zoom call, so Sean Face is like, okay, 8 p.m. Chaiko, how much behind are you guys in Cleveland? I'm like, about 10 years. Catching up a little bit. But Cleveland is catching up, because one thing that this coronavirus brought to Cleveland is until these times, until about a month ago, there was no Marv in Cleveland past 10 p.m. Now, now it's awesome. I dive in at 1 a.m. and later, whenever, yeah. But you know, Chabad has been stepping up. Chabad has been amazing worldwide, always is. But you know, I think in these times we're getting to appreciate it very much. A couple of weeks ago, Arab Shabbos, somebody drove around my block, trunk open with Shabbos candles in the trunk with a sign, please take. Right before Shabbos, driving around nice and slow. So it was a really sweet gesture. Erev Pesach, they came around driving nice and slow. They lit their cars on fire so everyone could throw in their chametz. So we had mobile bonfires. I thought that was a great thing. But one thing that's been interesting to see was all the coolest that are coming out. I call it heter surging. Everyone's taking advantage of the situation, and there's some crazy coolest coming out. Like, for example, my Rav told me, and this was whatever, you shouldn't rely on this, speak to your own Rav. My Rav told me that this year dust is not chametz. Frankly, I told this to my wife, and let's just say I'm either going to have to get a new Rav or a new wife. And it's very hard to date these days with social distancing. Telling you. But like another heter that was going around a lot was the mikvah. You know, my Rav said that we can drink tap water this Pesach. We don't have to drink mikvah water, which was very interesting. I don't know where he got that from, but you know, whatever. Okay. And right before Yontiff, I called my Rav and I'm like, Rav, I didn't type on my phone this year. And he's like, you type on your phone every Pesach? I said, not intentionally. Anyway, thank you very much, everyone. Appreciate your time. Thank you, Chol, please.
Yeah. Michael Kaufman, that was phenomenal. Excellent, great stuff. I do want to mention that for anyone who's watching, if you want to try out stand-up comedy, this is the forum. We plan on doing it on a weekly basis. The last minion left in the world, and I do want to thank everyone who has been on tonight. You guys, it's been awesome. Let's go look through some comments quick. Not many comments this week. What's going on? Or is my computer slow? What are you guys doing? Just sitting there watching. I have 155 people who are sitting there. They don't want to say anything. But Simon Wurtzberger says, "Don't try the bat."
So should I call you in the morning?
Chaiko, you crushed it, says Simon.
Don't do that.
Dream Mashiach says, "Great closing joke." Mordechai Sidel, awesome, Chaiko. Yisrael Freeman says hi. This is great stuff. Some guys want Levi Goldstein. Levi's coming up soon. Up now is Moshe Kreisman. He's got his guitar. He's going to unmute himself, I hope. I'm going to pin him, and it looks like we got some music.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So we had our Seder going. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Perfect. So after our Seder, we were talking. We were up till like 5 in the morning. Is that right? 5 in the morning? Yeah, 5 in the, yeah. And we were thinking about some previous times when we had guests and some of the interesting guests that we had, there was notably one particular guest from Australia named Herbert. So you have to be careful. Now, as we mentioned before, we talked about how after the coronavirus, and you're going to start having guests again. So I want to warn you that you should vet your guests before you let them help you prepare for the Seder. Okay, well, this fellow was a guest in our house and he was very quiet. We thought he was knowledgeable. And so we had him get out to, we told him to get the carbon Pesach, a chicken wing or a chicken leg. He brought us a chicken, and made it very difficult to keep it on the Seder plate, okay? A live chicken. There were a couple of other things, you know. We didn't know what his drinking habits might be, but he said he volunteered to get the cost. And when he brought us a cost this big, then we kind of wondered if we might have a problem. So in memory of his, in remembering this particular guest, I wrote a little song about this guest, Herbert. A huge potato fish and a giant fish, wine beckers of giant size. Herbert, our Seder guest, though he tried to do his best, brought the carbon Pesach that was live. For each time we raised a cup, 2 bottles he drank up. We couldn't even keep pace. At first he had seemed quite mild, but he started getting very wild. He almost trashed the place. If you think you have a boisterous crowd and that they're way too loud, you should have heard his Manishtana. Oh no.
There you go.
Louder than our greatest fears, even our neighbors held their ears. Folks even answered from Tirana. Herbert he got wild, Herbert grabbed the Seder plate. Then everything he ate, he created quite a furor. When his snack was through, he ate the afikoimen and the napkin too. And he finished all the maror. The fish fell on the floor. The quorum was no more. Our guest ran out the door. He ran into the night, gave the neighbors quite a fright. He's who the police came for. He had terrorized the neighborhood. The police beat him up pretty good. They gave him quite a pummeling. To the police we did complain. They said he felt no pain. They said he had it coming. Coming, I guess. He was out, so we didn't make a fuss. And they brought him back to us. We went back to the table. We replaced almost everything. We were missing just one thing. We were missing maror. We went back to the table. When he finally did come to, he saw the damage he did do. To him it did greatly disturb. It's true we weren't happy that he felt so crappy, but he became our bitter herb. This special season seems to lack, rhyme and reason. Whether you're poor or wealthy, we hope this ballad here will bring you all some cheer. So have a Pesach kosher, happy and healthy.
Woo!
Thank you, a happy kosher Pesach.
Should we have an encore? That was phenomenal. Moshe Kreisman, ladies and gentlemen. Great song.
Okay.
Thank you. Yisroel Bernath asked in the group. Let me first move it to gallery view. Give me a second. There you go. Yisroel Bernath asked in the group, where's everyone from? Let's hear some noise in the chat. Napierville, Mendy Gold. There is someone in Napierville. Isn't Napierville in Quebec? Is there another Napierville I don't know about? Any of you guys heard of another Napierville?
There's one in Chicago.
Because there's like this small town in Quebec, the yeshiva in Naperville. All right, Mendy Gold, let us know if you're in Chicago or Quebec. Pittsburgh, Dream Mashiach is in Pittsburgh, and he's got a question for Chaikel. Chaikel, question is, what would the catering at Wuhan Pesach be?
As I think that's what Wurzburger was answering. We're gonna have Batzala something. I don't know. I'll get back to you on that one. Wait, it's not totally finalized. It was more.
Right. They're preparing for a bat mitzvah.
Oh, that's good.
Tati joke. I know. I've been Tatiing too long. Levi Chanowitz is watching from Fort Lauderdale. Mendel Mendelson is watching from Ottawa, Canada. The Mendelson family, you guys are awesome. I love you. Yisrael Freeman is watching from Boston. He wants to know, was I in the Maccabees video? Yup. Yes, I was. Chaikel was amazing, says G. Cover Nanny. G. Cover Nanny, where are you from? Where are you writing to us from? Kreisman as well. Definitely, I agree with that, although Moshe Kreisman left. New York City, Sarah Goldenberg. Shanghai, Ben Epstein. Toronto, Daniel Schwartz. Alicia asks if Arl went yet. He did. He was fantastic. Keep it on gallery view, says Avi G. Baltimore, Maryland. Yaakov, I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. And Moshe Pashkes is from Yerushalayim. At 4:40 a.m., he is watching this. That's dedication. Next year. So wait, Moshe Pashkes, when you finish your Seder, are you like next year, same time, same place? Mendy Gold says it's Chicago, Illinois. Crown Heights baby from Joe Berg, and Mo Stern is in his bed. All right, Yisrael Friedman, coronavirus. Okay. Schmaltz has entered the building. Next up is, folks, you could keep the comments coming in the on YouTube. In the meantime, Yisrael Bernath. Ladies and gentlemen, Yisrael Bernath.
Wow, this is great. This has been fantastic tonight. This Pesach has been quite a feat. I mean, so many people have missed their Pesach programs. Oh, the horror. They actually had to clean their house. And there was no cleaning help. I mean, I really feel for you. How are you managing? It must be awful. Are your kids complaining at all? Are your kids upset with the kids program at your Passover program in the house? Are they complaining about the lack of choices in food? Well, my friends, on behalf of Pesach program organizers all over the world, now you know how it feels. I think the only thing the kids aren't complaining about is how much they paid. Hey, the Passover programs, the 24-hour tea rooms, the stations, the performers. Let's talk about the performers for a second. Have you noticed that the performers that usually do the programs are mamish going mishuga? They're doing Facebook Live broadcasts. I mean, the comedians, the singers, the magicians, they're complaining how they were supposed to be in Prague and they were supposed to be in California and they were supposed to be in Italy and then some cruise in the Mediterranean. And Nebuch, now they're on Instagram with their kids, nagging at them, complaining about the lack of options in the kitchen tea room. So you got I've been getting all these messages of this performance and that performance, even here, the Frumprov performance. And my kids were really excited about some famous illusionist. And so we go on to the Zoom thing and I had to like type in the Zoom code U.US-964, with the sign for boron. And then you see thousands of people watching. And then he has his kid covering the screen during the illusion. I mean, he could have cut someone in half for the same price. Just have someone just cover the screen. Look at that, everyone. We cut him in half. Yay! Shweki had his kid holding the camera and he's shaking the camera the whole time during the performance. I still have a headache from it. Like I'm like, Elon Gold kept complaining about his kid producing the live show. And then all these people were commenting, so he couldn't get his hosts on. My friends, now you know how it feels. Now, then there's the back of the trucks. Let's talk about the back of the trucks. What is it with these trucks, with the music, and people not doing social distancing on the back of the trucks? I mean, they're driving through the streets, they're driving through Crown Heights, through Flatbush. I don't think they were quite mitzvah tanks, but they were screaming Happy Passover while riding through one of the most religious neighborhoods in the world, Crown Heights. I mean, honey, tell me, who were you screaming Happy Passover to? Were you throwing shmura matzah off the back of the truck? I mean, no, turn down Lefferts. Maybe there's some people that don't have any matzah. Crown Heights performers, I have something serious to talk about. You know that you're supposed to stay at home. I mean, how are we going to stop this thing if you're running around like it's a regular Pesach? It's not a regular Pesach. Us poor people had been getting tons of free concerts, and we're loving every minute of it. And what's with Hask? They get the memo. We're all poor this year. Everything is supposed to be free. I mean, did anyone actually watch it? I'm sure that there was this one guy who paid for the concert, and then he sent the link only to his sister, who only sent the link to her best friend, who only sent the link to her cousin. Basically, you get the idea. They probably made $18, but it's for the children. It was for the children, of course. So how else are you entertaining your kids? A friend of mine put up a post that he's looking for camping equipment to borrow because they were going camping as a Hamoed trip in their living room. It's true. That's what he was doing. Anyway, I really feel bad for all the lonely people. There'll be no more lonely people, never again. I mean, asking yourself the 4 questions, disagreeing with yourself all night. I mean, singing off tune with yourself. I kept on seeing all these single people posting their like single seders, you know, like you have one plate and one thing and one that. And I was like really feeling bad about this whole thing. All these single people with their one thing. Then I see one guy, he has another seder plate at the other side of a table. And I had to message him. I said, dude, like, why is there another seder plate there? He's like, I have to have a seder I never go to. So someone told me today, there's always next year. And yes, I think people who run Pesach programs, now is a good time to start advertising while this special experience is fresh in our minds. I'm hoping to open this Mishpacha magazine and see in it, as per usual, an insane amount of Pesach programs. I'm thinking Italy, California, the Poconos, Aruba, a piece of bread. And when you see those ads, each one is trying to be much better than the next. I mean, I'm convinced that Benny Friedman has Kivitzas Haderech. He's at every single Pesach program in the same night. I mean, there's only 8 nights of Pesach. How can you go to 40 programs in 15 countries? And then there's people who will do anything to get you to come to their program. You want Yosef Rosenblatt? No problem. Shlomo Karabach, Lubavitcher Rebbe? Don't worry, we'll make it happen. Our Pesach program offers gebrachs and non-gebrachs. Oh yeah? Well, our Pesach program offers gebrachs, non-gebrachs, kitnius and non-kitnius. Oh yeah? Well, ours offers gebrachs, non-gebrachs, a kitnius, a non-kitnius, a chol of Yisrael, and a chol of stam. Oh yeah? Oh yeah? Well, ours offers gebrachs, non-gebrachs, a kitnius, and a non-kitnius, chol of Yisrael, chol of stam, and chagadia. Oh yeah? Well, ours offers gebruchs, non-gebruchs, kitnius, non-kitnius, chov Yisrael, chov stam, and a chametz option.
Woo!
A singing chef, a deep fried mother-in-law, grilling all Yontiff and Shabbos. We actually make the korach sandwich, 3 mizbeachs on site. A non-kitnius sushi chef. Or how about this one? We have a shochet doing live on site, and guess what? It's on the children's schedule. 24-hour tea rooms. You can't forget about the tea rooms. So I was thinking about, because now that I'm thinking about, you know, it's going to be a big business next year because everybody's going to be wanting to go to these Pesach programs. I mean, we're all like so cooped up in our house. So I was thinking of 2 programs that I was going to advertise. What do you think of this? Pesach in Siberia. Guest speakers are in your room. Traditional borscht, traditional yapchik, traditional potatoes. Come to the place where potatoes started. Entertainment, real live blood libel.
Oh.
How about we have a game for the kids? It's called Find Your Passport. And then I had my other one. And tell me what you think of this one. Passover in Syria. Real adventure tour. Experience the exodus from Egypt by trying to flee the country. Entertainment. Yeshiva Boys Choir. Only 10 will make it home. Visit Saddam Hussein's palace. But there's nothing left for you to take. Visit the graves of Mordechai and Esther, not from the Purim story. I'm talking about the 2 Zman correspondents who were caught last year after they exposed all the ISIS leaders. Watch a real live reenactment of Yehudis and Halifernes performed by the ISIS Boys Choir. It's Glad Kosher and Halal slaughtering on site. We'll have so many female speakers like Rebbe Tversky or someone else. We're not sure since we haven't seen Under the Burqa. A specially designed rope courses for Zionists. And here at the bottom of the advertisement, it's going to say, it's going to be the bomb.
Be a blast.
Airfare sponsored by Natura Carta. Anyway, that's all I have for tonight. Thank you so much.
Hello, Bernard, ladies and gentlemen. That was brilliant. Hold on. Wow, good stuff. You know, by the way, nobody touched upon this, but Tfilas Tal, right? I mean, we just did Tfilas Tal. Who over here said Tfilas Tal at home?
I don't even know what it was.
On the second day of Pesach, we stop asking for rain. We do this because usually on a typical year, we start on Shmini Atzeres, we end the second day of Pesach. The main reason is so I got on Chol Hamoed, we don't have rain. But this year, I don't even know why we stopped asking for rain. Like, who's going outside anyway, right? Anyway, I'm just surprised nobody touched on it. There was a lot on coronavirus, a lot of Chol Hamoed trips, but I think we pretty much got everything covered. There are a couple of guys out there bashing Chabad a bit here and there, so I wanted to address some major myths. There are a lot of myths about Chabad that we say Yechi after davening. That's not true. Not after Nila. That we say that we all have menorahs on our cars. Again, untrue. Some of us have buses, rollerblades, ice skates. They say that we let in the weirdest, strangest people into our Chabad houses. Okay, that one's true. I mean, look at me. But tonight, I want to address the top 5 myths about Chabad, the top 5 misconceptions. First misconception, that there are people who believe that we are all Mossad agents. We are part of a great global Jewish conspiracy. And I totally get it, because Chabad is like everywhere. You go to Turkey and we'll shecht it for you. Fly to Finland, we'll find some scales. Go to Peru, we'll say urvu. I know, I have a friend who he got a bracha for Arichas Yomim, and the next day they shipped him off Chabad of Alaska. This poor guy, every sukkah sits inside his sukkah in his parka, shivering, wishing he had taken that open spot in Yemen. On the bright side, don't feel too bad. This guy gets 6 months of Mittelnacht. On the other side, you have Chabad of Hell. Now, yeah, it's Chabad of Hell. There's a Chabadnik there who he only recently found out that the Lubavitcher Rebbe passed away, and this is not a joke alert, because wait for it, he's a sadomasochist. Now, that's just a joke. There's no Chabad in hell. It's being saved for Chabad of Neturei Karta. Yeah, this poor sucker, he spends his entire time with people who are hugging and kissing people like Arafat or Ahmadinejad. They're waving Hezbollah flags on some Hastira, shouting Shema Palestine. But I do get it, the whole conspiracy. Like, you meet one Chabadnik, they all know each other. Like you say, you meet a Chabad rabbi, and you're just like, hi, my name is Tzvi Hershkowitz. I've been there. That's where I put tefillin on the Dalai Lama. He now runs Chabad of Tibet. That's right. But again, this is a myth. Chabad cannot be running a global conspiracy of Jewish domination, because if we were, first of all, like, wouldn't we be targeting non-Jews? Wouldn't you see like a Chabad rabbi on the street and it'd come up to you and it'd say, excuse me, are you Jewish? Oh, you are? Well, then you have a nice day. Or wouldn't Chabad be like specifically, if we're trying global domination, would be specifically all over the strict Muslim countries, would be everywhere. In fact, it's the opposite. You'll find Chabad in every country in the world except strict Muslim countries. And the reason is because those countries ban alcohol. Myth number 2, Chabad only wants to make you religious. That all they're trying to do, they're talking to you and they just want to put tefillin on you. And that is completely not true. We also want your wife to light Shabbos candles, the baby that's in her belly to get a bris, have a bar mitzvah, get a Jewish education, marry a Jewish woman, and donate $360 every week to Chabad. We think long-term, baby. No, but really, we understand the value of every single mitzvah. We recognize that everyone's on their own personal journey, and we know that with enough alcohol, anyone will swing a chicken over their head. Myth number 3: we are ultra-Orthodox extremists. There are people who believe that about Chabad, which brings me to myth number 4: we are not religious enough. That's right. We're kind of weird. Like we have like these kind of like extreme views, but we're very chill at the same time. Like, for example, on the one hand, we will never sleep inside a sukkah. We're not fanatics, but we'll eat in there even in a thunderstorm. On the one hand, we have the personal numbers of politicians, athletes, and celebrities, but we have no idea how to pronounce their names. I'd like to give this award to my dear friend Sarah Lapellin. Please, if you put on the shekel just for your picture. On the one hand, we're on TV all the time, but we got to ask our congregants how we did. Because on the one hand, we don't have TVs in our home, but we own the latest 5G digital technology smartphones. So, myth number 5, the last myth: we are centrally funded by Chabad International. There are a lot of people who think that every Chabad shliach is getting money pouring in from Chabad headquarters, and that is totally untrue. Because here's how you become a Chabad shliach. It's kind of like joining a college frat. You get completely smashed drunk. You make a bunch of vague promises. Then you wake up in an entirely new country. With no money, no passport. It's terrible.
I saw that movie.
Yeah, when you wake up, you go through all 5 stages of grief. Stage 1. Does anyone? What's stage 1? Stage 1. Any of you? Help me.
Denial.
I knew that. I'm just denying. Yeah. Stage 1 is denial. That's when you spend like $50,000 on your credit cards, because like we're okay, we got this. You're in total denial that you have no money. You spend it on things that like you don't even need. You're like, Shady, you'll never believe what I just got from the Army surplus store. Let's just say that this year we have a real mitzvah tank. Now no one will refuse me when I try to put tefillin on them. Stage 2. What's stage 2? I have it written down here. Stage 2 is anger. That's when you realize you need money desperately, so you spend another $10,000 on your credit card buying stamps and buying envelopes and writing personalized letter to every friend, acquaintance, family members, asking them to give you a donation, and only one letter comes back. And inside is a check for $18, post-dated, and it's from your mother. Stage 4, bargaining. That's when you actually bargain with people. You call your friends, you're like, so can you do $18 a month? No, how about 9? $3.50? Would you go for $1.25? My final offer, $1.25. Listen, you're going to be a pillar in the community. We'll name our entire dining room after you. We'll call it the Bubby and Zadie Hershkowitz Dining Hall. Amazing. Okay, give me your credit card number. Shady, I secured finances for 10 years, $175. Stage 4 is depression. We have no money. We'll never meet someone in a shopping center who just wants to give us all their money, like every other shliach. That's when you start making these crazy. You just start making these weird cost-saving decisions. Like you're like, all right, kinderlach. I know last night we had matzah for dinner, but tonight, in honor of Rosh Hashanah, we're going to have noodles and ketchup. And don't worry, you don't have to finish it all. We can put some in the freezer for later. And Mushkala, please remember, before Yontiff comes, take out all the light bulbs out of all the bedrooms and the bathrooms. And if you don't mind, take the toilet paper and separate each ply. That's a joke that still applies today, coronavirus. Yeah. Separating plies, little life hack. Stage 5 is acceptance. Your community realizes all the hard work you've poured in. They recognize the value of that work, and they decide to support you, and you make it. Can we get a good round of applause for stage 5? Really don't, and you spend the rest of your life miserable. Yeah. So on that bright note, let's move on. Who's next? Where's my list? Here we go. Next up, he is hiding. He's gotta unmute himself and turn on his camera. Schmaltz coming all the way from LA. He joined us a little late. This is going to be a second performance. You can find him all over Schmaltz News on Instagram, on a bunch of different places. And Schmaltz, you're on. And someone's trying to enter this room. Hit me up because I don't know who you are, so you're stuck in the waiting room. Schmaltz, you're on.
Can everyone hear me?
We can hear you.
Alrighty. So, first of all, a good morning to everyone. Hope everyone's doing good. A good morning to you. I usually use Chayenu when I do chitas, but I've recently started buying Varmalchus so that on all my Zoom meetings and of course performances, I can put it next to me, and just before I start, I open it up and I begin to fulfill the custom of Poischim bid Varmalchus. So you're also supposed to have a Milsa de B'dichusa, but the whole thing is a joke, so hopefully I'll be able to be Mekayim that throughout the performance. Wow, it's been some tough times. You don't really want to be featured on COL Live these days, but thank you, COL Live, for putting us up there. And thanks for all of you for staying in tonight to see the show. We know you have lots of options out there. You have your friends and families' passwords to all of their various viewing platforms. They've shared it with you, and you chose to be with us. So thank you so much. Now, of course, we know that Simcha Paris Getter. So if we have some good laughter, maybe that could be considered Lechatchila Riba. So let's get it started. Now, for starters, I absolutely love Crown Heights. I was there for last Pesach. Aside from the fact that Kantiv Hashem Sabrocha, as a South African, it was always the best place to land into because it's the only city in the world that's constantly jet lagged. I was in Crown Heights last year for Pesach, had a great time. The best Hamoed outing we did was I took my kids to Flams and we played hide and seek. It took up the entire day. Now, I even found somebody else's kid who was hiding there from the Pesach before. There's so many good hiding spots in Flams. Now, usually when I'm in the New York area, I also like to go to Borough Park. And when I go to Borough Park, I just make one stop. I go to Mostly Music and I walk in and say, hey, what do you guys sell over here? I always get this puzzled look and a bit of a smile coming back at me. Speaking of music, we're heading into No Music Sphera, and I'm going to miss my Jewish music, especially MBD, the king of Jewish music. He's the king of Jewish music. He's the king of Jewish music because every one of his fans, yeshiva education or not, can spell his name, MBD. That's why he became the king of Jewish music. Now, it's one of those moments in a frum person's life, like, you know, you remember where you were when the Cubs won the World Series. You remember where you were on 9/11. And I remember where I was when I found out that Ben David and Fried weren't Mordechai and Avram's real last names. It was a very tough day for me, especially because it was the same day that I found out that Dedi didn't even have a last name. So that was Avram Fried and Mordechai Ben David. Either way, it still puzzles me that Yidel didn't get the memo, because Yidel would have launched his career if he could have been Yidel Ben Mordechai Ben David. But still, it must be pretty cool to be the Gabbai in MBD's shul. Can you imagine saying Hamoed, Mordechai Ben David, Shlishi, Chazak? That must be a pretty cool feeling. Or maybe they just go Hamoed MBD, either which way. I digress. Where was I? Crown Heights. Right, Crown Heights. The Jewish Children's Museum is incredible. I took my kids there once. We ended up staying very late till like 10 p.m. They don't write it on the paper that you get when you come in, but there's actually free food on the second floor some evenings. So I situated my kids and my family. We sat down for a dinner. It was about 10:30, and this young man and what looked like his shidduch arrived. I usually don't go up to people, but I said, you know, you should probably go somewhere more discreet for a shidduch date. This is the Jewish Children's Museum. He said to me, we're not on a shidduch date. We're actually having our engagement party. I said, when? He said, tonight. I said, Mazel Tov, but where are your guests? Remember, this was 10:30 p.m. He looked at the color and he sighed and he said, out of towners. He then looked at me and he said, you know what? The guests, some of them are just opening up their stores for the day and then they'll be here. Now, I've recently been privy to the minutes of the meeting that landed the dreidel outside the Jewish Children's Museum. Little known fact before we get there is that Farmers Insurance were originally offered the naming rights of the JCM. It was going to be known as the Crown Heights Farmers Jewish Children's Museum. The plan didn't go through though. So at this particular meeting where they were getting the what they were going to put outside there was a representative of Mendy's who was present, and he said that they should place a giant statue of a chicken avocado wrap. Now, this was vetoed because they were unsure if the metal plaque underneath the wrap was going to have Hamoed Mazonis written on it. So they vetoed that plan. Now, Chocolate, which came much later, but they had representatives at the meeting anyways, they requested a statue of a bearded man, like their logo, that should be outside the museum. Now, eventually this was refused also because they insisted that anyone who wanted to sit on the platform there had to check into their store on Facebook and friend them. So that was vetoed also. Now, it was eventually agreed that the statue should be more of a thank you to the people of Crown Heights. So they settled on the dreidel as a toast to the large percentage of the Crown Heights population that drays around for large portions of the day. So that's how the dreidel in fact landed up over there. We laugh to get through this, of course, and not to make light. But Mishaberach lists have been growing, and it reminds me of the time that Schmaltz News broke the story of a man who was deceased for 6 years and was found on the Mishaberach list 6 years later. Now, things took a surprising turn. Things took like a really surprising turn when they discovered that the said man who was on the Mishaberach list also had a memorial plaque in the shul while he was on the Mishaberach list. So this was quite a thing. Now, obviously it's Pesach, and one of the things that coronavirus has accomplished, as it's certainly put a stop to hopefully all of the Frum vacations this Pesach, but yet things are not so different because generally Frum people go on vacation with the people that they're trying to get away from. So this year we get to be on vacation with the people who we're with anyways, without having to actually go away. Now, it's a uniquely Frum feeling when you decide to get a break from everyone who lives on your block by moving up to a bungalow colony with everyone who lives on your block and spending even more time with them. And then you get back to the city and you say to yourself, oh, you know what I really can do with? A break from all these people who I was taking a break with. It's one of those uniquely Frum things. It extends even further, you know, because Frum people love all the conveniences that Frum people need on vacation, except for seeing other Frum people. Now, Frum people will go to a place that has a minyan and then be annoyed that there are other Jews over there, despite the fact that they need them to make a minyan. Now, they won't say anything overtly mean, but Daf Yomi poolside with your soft cover Schottenstein Bavli is not the same when the Chazan for Shachris is doing belly flops just a few yards away from you. It kind of gives it a different feel. Of course, you have, as Chol Face was saying, you have the people that have certain views on Chabad until they show up on an exotic vacation with kosher food, and the only source for this is Chabad. And truth be told, doesn't everybody love Chabad when you're at the Hertz rental counter? So everyone has some sort of love over there. Now, the truth is that Frum people have like a very distinct way of doing everything. Like so much so that there is a Glatt kosher restaurant in the Five Towns that's now offering patrons tours of what other people are eating. So you don't even get a menu when you come in. You just get a tour of what everybody else is eating. Now, the restaurant has said that they have been absolutely instrumental in making the dining experience so much better for so many people. Now, whatever food was coming out of the kitchen, the manager noticed people would perk their eyes up, and some of them would even crane up to see what was coming out of the kitchen. Obviously, there would be those mutterings of, I could swear we walked in before those people. They probably know the owner or something. But at least nobody is walking out of this restaurant saying we should have ordered what those people ordered, because you can actually take a tour of what they ordered. Schmaltz News spoke to the manager, and the manager said that when the whole coronavirus thing is well and truly behind us, may it be speedily, the restaurant even hopes to allow tastings of other people's orders. Now, this will be an absolute deal breaker. Can you imagine sitting down for your rib steak when all of a sudden a fork comes over your shoulder? Sorry, just trying the steak of the day. How did you order it? Oh, you went for the medium? I like the cut, but I'll probably go for more rare on mine. Thank you so much for the piece. Enjoy your meal. Now, having somebody taking a forkful of food out of your mouth as you're about to eat it is pretty much just an average day as a parent. So it won't be such a unique experience for many people. Now, speaking of food, Pesach and food are discussions that often get the emotions going. You have food influencers all over the Frum world is full of them, all over Instagram and all over places that are taking spoonfuls of Pesach cake saying, wow, this is so good, I would eat it all year round. And then watch Motzei Pesach or watch Friday, and you'll have the same influencers with a piece of cake, which is clearly not kosher Pesach, and saying, looking at this piece of cake the size of a shliach's talis bag, and they'll be saying, I'm so glad to be back to my real cake. So, you know, it kind of goes, I can eat this all year, but I'm so glad to be back to the real stuff. That's how it goes. But I'm not talking about the food so much as I'm talking about the medical miracle that occurs on every single Erev Pesach as your children are sleeping. There's a little known cousin of the tooth fairy. He's known as the Pesach tummy stretching fairy. He comes and he stretches your kids' stomachs, and he makes them the size of a shliach's talis bag when he's at the Kinnis HaShluchim. Now, basically, he makes your kids' stomachs into a bottomless pit. On Erev Pesach, I was certain that if my son blinked, Lebanon was going to come out of his eyes. He must have been up to his eyeballs in Lebanon. During the year, he can barely even put away one, but now he puts away four, only to turn around a few seconds later and say, what is there to eat? I usually turn around and say, I don't know, try a fruit, tangerines, oranges, bananas. In his best 4-year-old voice, he usually says, Tati, I finished all of those already. Now, we can only imagine and hope. Can you imagine if the Pesach tummy stretching fairy had a cousin called the tummy shrinking fairy? Now, that would be something that somebody would have to market and make money on. The truth is that if we're discussing from people and their habits and Pesach and things like that, they don't make or take on professions based on education like most people do. They take on professions based on what they own. Like, for example, B&H in Manhattan, they don't only employ thousands of Frum Yidden, but every Frum Yid that has bought a semi-professional camera with a red and black Canon strap becomes a professional photographer right then and there on the spot. Now, can you imagine? That's thousands and thousands of professional photographers every single year. Now, you can tell that they've actually never been to photography school, because if they had, they would know that if you are taking pictures at a wedding, you have to position your picture taking ladder in the exact spot to become a tripping hazard for any dance that's going on. But it makes for a great candid snap when you get Uncle Charlie tripping over the ladder. Now, obviously, Uncle Charlie tripping over the ladder prompts tens of eager bochum to follow Uncle Charlie with somersaults of their own. But little do we know that Uncle Charlie was actually in cardiac arrest, and people only realized that he had tripped over the ladder when he did not spring up and run around feverishly during Hop Kazak, which took place a couple of hours later. So you could tell that they haven't been to that sort of schooling. Now, this whole Corona thing is very different from people, because Amazon is limiting what you can get same day. And of course, Amazon decides what's essential and what's non-essential. But from people, what's essential for us and what's essential for other people is very different. Like, for example, a couple of weeks ago, I ordered Eliyahu Hanavi. Now, Amazon said he was non-essential. It was an Eliyahu Hanavi puppet. That's what I'm talking about. Now, I was really annoyed because I'm making a Seder for my kids, and I thought that Eliyahu Hanavi would be really essential. Anyways, it was on back order for a few weeks. I opened the door for Shvei Chamascha during the Seder, and I got a fright. I got a fright. The Amazon guy, he was right there. He was making his delivery right then and there. He was also frightened because he wasn't expecting a guy staggering from 3 cups of wine with a beard full of matzah and a candle. That's not usually who comes to the door. Now, usually they knock on the door and run away, the famous ding dong ditch of Amazon, but he was about to knock and I opened the door. And usually they just say Amazon and run off. But he said, Amazon, just delivering your Elijah the prophet. And if you promise not to hurt me, I'll even give you the light bulbs that your neighbor ordered next door. So that was the end of that. Well, anyways, that's my few minutes for tonight. And wishing you all a very good Hamoed.
Wow, that was awesome. You're the only Jew to have a Leon Navi at his door.
There you go.
Huh?
There you go. You order him on Amazon, he'll come. You know, there used to be an old thing. You can go on Amazon, you can order a chicken and order an egg, and then you can see which one comes first. It settles the debate once and for all.
I have a weekly, I have a nightly chavrusa with Elio Navi. I was trying to set up a shidduch. I told him like, Sarach Bas Asher, you know, Elio Navi. He was like, she's way too old for me. You know, what could you do? Anyway, I noticed that you mentioned about all the, what are they called? Food influencers. So I always wondered if they're like on Pesach, Chabad food influencers. So I want to be a Chabad food influencer. So I have a freshly peeled apple, and I'm going to give you a report. Said H before. One bite, everyone knows the rules. Has a little bit of a tangy flavor. Probably goes well with wine, white wine. I would drink this with white wine. All right, let's move along to the final set of the night. Lady, I have a question for you before we start, because there's a whole debate going on with people writing me private messages. Should I do gallery view or speaker view?
Probably gallery view. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I have no idea what the difference is between, but yeah, probably gallery.
Gallery view, you see everyone, and what it does is, I don't know how I got a mosquito in my room. Hold on. This is why we wear yarmulkes for people. I'll get it soon. Gallery view is, the advantage of gallery view is that it forces those who are not watching, like, to either turn off their video or look like a douche. Like, you know, I'm sitting there. All right, pushes people to participate. So I'm going with gallery view. Levy, you're on.
Okay, good morning, everybody. We're obviously this is Moadim L'Simcha, but we're going through some rough times. So figured I'd pull out my guitar over here, and I'm gonna do some imitations of some singers with guitars. I'm gonna start with Yehuda Green. Everybody hear of Yehuda Green? He's become popular lately. So here we go. Ani Mamin by Yehuda Green. Just you gotta pretend there's music. Ani Mamin be'emuna sheleima be'vi'az HaMoshiach Ani Mamin. Ani Mamin, Ani Mamin, be'emuna sheleima, be'vi'az HaMoshiach, Ani Mamin. Moshiach, Moshiach, where are you? We're all waiting for you. Moshiach ben David, we need you. Yavai ve'yigoleinu. Ani Mamin. Anyways, while I have the guitar, while I have the guitar, I'm gonna do Moshe Yes, Alva Shalom. You know, here we go. You ready? I hope, Taldi's gonna forgive me, but it's okay. A long, long time ago, in a land that's called Mitzrayim, Paro made us work so hard. We spent the whole day crying. We had to make him bricks. That's what he made us do. But in our hearts, we knew Hashem would send a special Jew. Moshe Rabbeinu, Moshe Rabbeinu, that is Moshe Rabbeinu, I see. Moshe Rabbeinu, Moshe Rabbeinu, he is come to set us free. Moshe Rabbeinu, Moshe Rabbeinu, come and take us by the hand. Moshe Rabbeinu, take us out of Pharaoh's land. All right.
Woo! I think that's like dating. Me and you are probably the only people who get that. That was brilliant. The amazing
I got it.
That was phenomenal.
I remember it.
That was genius.
Nice.
So for us comedian, we have, did you see this video? It was going around. Modi, the comedian, the famous comedian, hello. So he was complaining this year, I don't know. I was planning to go to Mexico, to Hawaii, and they canceled on me. I don't know. So I'm going to stand here and make a show and see if it's funny to you. You know, and he's like, you got to be careful with the Muhammad jokes, though. You know, they don't like that. Anyways, that's Modi. You know, ever been at a wedding? You ever been at a wedding? Yeah. Look who I picked out. You ever been at a wedding? You know, a wedding or a bris, it's always kibudim, you know, Chabad with the bracha, with this, Chabad with taking the baby from the water to put him aliyada kise, and then Chabad aliyada kise, ala kise, mitachat la kise, betoicha kise, around the kise, to take the baby, to move the baby up 2 inches to pass it to this guy. And then by a wedding, it's like Chabad with the most bekavadika bracha of all the Sheva brachas, Harav HaMechubed, the kavod, the Rav that runs after the kavod, and finally the kavod caught up to him, Harav HaKavod HaChol.
Mora de Asra.
Mora de Asra, yeah. You know, and I do this with my kids, you know, whenever. And I use a lot of things with my kids, if you notice from my past shows. It's like I'm a chabad with getting into pajamas. Menda, let's go. And mechabed right after him. His sister, get in there. Yeah, we like the mechabed. And it works. They yeah. You know, and the rabbis, you know, with the speeches, whenever they give the speeches, you know, whenever there's like a shliach with a congregation, it's like, and it says an event, you know, a Purim event, and now we would like to honor this so-and-so, and now we would like to tell everybody that everybody should move to the side. We would like, everything is about how we would like. I say, I like peanut butter. Would you like some? Anyways. We got some lately in because of this situation. We got a lot of you know, the I don't know, because we got people all over the world, but here in Montreal we have these like robocalls, these Polish robocalls, and they call you like, you know, just when you're doing bedikas cham. Due to the situation, hello, there's a terrible situation with the coronavirus. We will not be, and our store is closed, so please make your orders to 514-333-3933. Oh my God. You know, my wife recently got me this book. Yeah, I don't know what that means. What is he trying to say? It's a book by Rabbi Taub with a whole bunch of like questions and answers, you know, from the Ami magazine. Yeah, I was like, this is for me? Oh, I have to read it? Okay. So anyway, so one particular question and answer here struck me very interesting. I'd like to read it to everybody. So there's like, you know, the way it goes is like a question, a person asks a question, Rabbi Taub gives an answer. So here's an interesting question. I'm going to read it. Dear Rabbi Taub, every time I open the garbage, I notice a lot of recycling pieces in the trash instead of the recycling bin. Now, I know I've told my wife many times about taking the recycling items and putting it in the recycling bin. I know this is maybe too much to ask, but is it too much to ask for my wife to do the right thing and put the recycling stuff in the recycling bin? And it goes on. It is, I'm going to get to the answer. Here's the answer. It's, here it is. Okay, so Rabbi Taub writes, Dear Wimp. Okay, moving on. Yeah, no, but no, Tal was a great guy. You know, he there's a video that just went out with Rabbi Taub, where he's saying that, you know, Yechezkiah could have been Mashiach, but what was the problem? The Gemara says because he didn't sing Shira. So the Rashba, the famous Rashba, asks, why didn't he sing Shira? We see that he sang Shira. So the Rashba answers, it's because he sang the Shira after he won. If he would have sang the Shira before he won, then he would have been Mashiach. So in that spirit, I'm going to ask everybody, if you could please, don't wait till after my joke, to the punchline. You laugh before, and then the Mashiach will somehow come faster. Otherwise, we'd miss our chance. Oh my gosh. Oh, and you know, Aurel, I see Aurel is still there. Hey, how you doing? Okay. So, you know, and again, yeah, so I'm just going to preface, because my next bit is a little bit, I just want to say that I love Sfardim. I love Sfardim, okay? Now that I got that firewall around me.
Don't worry, he can't come there and hit you.
So, no, oh, but by the way, Aurel, I always wanted to say this at a bit, but I couldn't, but now I feel the safest. It's the three families that you should never do business with. Okay? It's Gosnell, Genevish, and Bendit. These are three. Okay. Anyways, getting back to the Sfardim.
I just got it, sir.
So, speaking of Sfardim, other than Aurel, any Sfardim watching this? No? Then let's tell the truth. Okay. Oh, no. So I love the Sfardim.
I'm not.
And the Sfardim have a very interesting rhythmic tune to all their davenings. They're like, you know, you know, there are different types of sneezes out there, you know. There's, you know, a regular sneeze has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And, you know, there's a warning. It starts, you know, it's like, and you're ready for it. And it kind of ends. It's good. But some people, it's like, it's messed up. They have only the beginning or only the end. You know, it's like, you ever see like, you ever see that? It's messed up. What's that? You know, and then there are people that have only the end, like, boom. Like, what happened? All right, good morning. Thank you very much, everybody.
You laid it easy on this Sfardim. Good stuff, Levi.
I am not Sephardi. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No. I was just saying you could be Sephardi. You want to be Sephardi now, right, Michael? You want to eat some good kidneys. All right. You're now's the time to unmute everyone. We're just gonna chill for a bit. First of all, I really want to thank everyone for joining. Now let's look at some comments and see what the crowd wants to talk about. If anyone has any thoughts, all right, let's see. Levi, you have a lot of nephews who want you to go up. All right, haggling with myself for an hour. Levi, do you ever haggle yourself? Do any of you guys haggle with yourself for an Afikoman gift? Mordechai Schmutter wants to know. Anyone? Are you guys unmuted?
This is why we read the army and not the mishpacha. No, I'm kidding.
Could you repeat the question?
Okay. The question is, do you haggle with yourself for an Afikoman gift this year? I think everyone's reading.
I didn't hear. Oh. Yeah, the connection went off for a second.
My connection? Your connection?
I don't know whose it was.
Our connection with Hashem.
All right. So does anyone else want to read? They're unmute. I'm trying to unmute, Levi. Oh, there you go. You muted yourself. How you guys doing? How is Yontiff? What are your plans for the next couple of days?
Working.
Babysitting, basically.
you're working on calling I don't even do voice notes. I don't even write on WhatsApp. I only do voice notes because you're not allowed. Levy, what's going on?
And then I got stuck on the robocalls. 334499. 333.
Is this a Montreal thing, or do you get that in Cleveland? Saul, do you get that in New York? The robocalls?
Too many, all over the time, all over the place.
You know that it's a guy in Tush. A guy in Tush is responsible for all the world's robocalls. I heard that one guy got really lonely during the coronavirus. Huh?
We knew it was the Jews.
Yeah. No. I heard a guy got really so lonely, he reached out to the Tusher and asked him to add his number to the robocall list.
Yeah. It sounds like I don't even know. I forgot what I was gonna say.
All right, God. This is why it's hard to have conversations.
Did anybody else get that? Just ask.
We got a robocall from the Bud and it kept on playing all of Shabbos.
Anybody else get
Does
that?
anybody else get that?
The VOD called before Shabbos or on Shabbos?
Yeah.
No,
Before Shabbos, we didn't answer, and it kept on dinging and binging and schminging the whole Shabbos. Can you imagine that?
It wasn't funny.
Wasn't funny. True story. From the Bud.
Robocall about?
I bet somebody else must have done. What?
What was the robocall about?
We don't answer.
I think you got it. We're planning to take on Shabbos early at 6:30.
It kept ringing.
It kept on ringing.
That's weird, eh?
Yeah.
That's amazing. You know that, by the way, on a lot of these robocalls, if you stick around till the end of the robocall, they like ask you to put in your credit card number or something, but you have the option of speaking with someone. So I know someone who decided he's gonna find out who's behind it. That's how I know it's a Tusher, because he's paid on and he found out who it was. And now that we have this guy's number, we should just send every Nigerian prince.
I say they should use this guy. The CIA should use this guy to interrogate terrorists, man. Play this robocall on earphones as loud as you can. Terrorists 24/7. Hello, 3344.
All right, here's what we got. Let's look at some more Boron, a Jerry Seinfeld shout out, says Moshe Pashkiz. Deep fried mother. Okay, I think we're back. I'm all the way back in the comments with Yisrael Bernath. Rabbi Bernath did great. Rivka Leah says that was the bomb. Oral, you have a lot of fans. How do you pronounce your name? You were mispronouncing the name.
Orel.
Orel. G. Kavernani is offering himself to be the shliach to Chabad of Wuhan. It's pretty good. That's pretty good. The uncle position has been taken. Aryeh. All right. Schmaltz has some fans. Dream Mashiach sings Moshe Rabbeinu in his best Moshe Yes all year round. We want more from Levi. Levi, you got any more to give us?
Who asked that?
Without names, your forehead is shining in my eye. That's me. My forehead, that's the light, and I'm balding. I'm so proud. Someone noticed me. That's my forehead. I'm going bald. It's the main reason from Yidden wear yarmulkes is so nobody knows that we're going bald. There are other reasons to wear yarmulkes, like I mentioned, mosquitoes. We can take out hot stuff out of the oven, change light bulbs. They're very, very, very effective. Masks. All right, so shall we call it a night?
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys all for coming. Once again, anyone who's watching, if you are interested in doing a Frumprov, reach out to Frumprov, Chol. Does anyone want to say where people could find them? Levi, where could you be found?
44339933 FFIR.
Saul
Saul
where
Auerbach
can you
on
be found?
Facebook.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram, Orel Goslin.
Saul.
Saul Auerbach on Facebook.
Moshe Kreisman.
Find me at home. Just call me just before Shabbos.
Michael.
At Heikel K on Twitter and Heikel on Facebook.
And you can find me on Chol and Face, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and mainly Twitter. But yeah, thank you guys for coming, for joining. This was a lot of fun. Have a great night.
Yes, you too.
And a good
you.
Hamoed.
Good night.
End meeting.
Good night. Thank you.